following a High Court jury's guilty verdict delivered in December of last year. As part of the sentence, the court will conduct a review after 15 years to determine whether Forbes may be eligible for early release. Thomas was killed in March 2018, just 1 month after police reported that Forbes had escaped during an evidence-gathering visit connected to another investigation. At the time of Thomas's death, Forbes had already been charged in connection with the murders of Wilfred Bongo Williams, Sean Henry, and Lissy Williams. All the prosecutors alleged that Forbes escaped lawful custody before the fatal shooting. He was later acquitted of that charge. Forbes is still awaiting trial on the 3 remaining murder charges. No dates have yet been set for these proceedings. Prime Minister Gaston Brown is renewing calls for the urgent adoption of the Multidimensional Vulnerability Index, warning that time is running out for small island developing states facing mounting climate and economic challenges. Addressing a high-level retreat at the United Nations, Brown stressed that countries such as Antigua and Barbuda are often denied access to concessional financing because eligibility is determined primarily by income levels rather than exposure to hurricanes, climate change, and external economic shocks. The Prime Minister played a key role in the development of the MVI, co-chairing a high-level United Nations panel alongside former Norwegian Prime Minister Erna Solberg. He argued that the index would provide a more accurate assessment of a country's needs by measuring vulnerability and risk rather than relying solely on gross national income per capita. According to Brown, the adoption of the MVI would help vulnerable nations secure the financing needed to invest in critical areas such as climate resilience, renewable energy, and sustainable development. The Prime Minister also highlighted the Caribbean's heavy dependence on imported fossil fuel and the burden of high electricity costs across the region. He is calling on international financial institutions to incorporate the MVI into their financial decisions, insisting that the time has come to move beyond commitments and deliver meaningful actions for vulnerable countries. The Multidimensional Vulnerability Index has been championed by SIDS as a fairer mechanism for determining eligibility for concessional financing and development support. The High Court has heard emotional testimony in the trial of a man accused of murdering businessman Rudy Shimalai during an armed robbery on May 2023. Javisa Shoy has pleaded not guilty to charges of murder and aggravated robbery arising from the fatal incident at the Pick and Mix Mart on the Sousa Road. 4 witnesses and 4 medical experts testified on the opening day of the trial, which is expected to hear evidence from approximately 35 witnesses. Among those taking a stand was a woman who recounted the terrifying moments leading up to the shooting. She told the court a gunman entered the establishment carrying a silver and black handgun and emptied the cash register. According to her testimony, Shimali entered shortly afterwards and appeared visibly nervous while carrying a concealed weapon. The witness said 2 shots were fired moments later, with Shimali falling after the first gunshot. Overcome with emotion, she broke down in tears as she recalled that she and Shimali had ordered lunch together shortly before the robbery, a meal they would never get the opportunity to share. The court also heard evidence from police officers involved in the execution of a search warrant at Shoy's residence on the night of his arrest. According to testimony, a struggle developed between the accused and an officer, resulting in the discharge of a rubber round that struck Shoy. He was subsequently treated at the hospital and later taken into police custody. During cross-examination by defense attorney Wendell Alexander, it emerged that Senior Sergeant Spencer did not report the discharge of the rubber round. The injuries sustained by the accused or the resulting damage, despite police protocols requiring such incidents to be documented. Shoy, who was 24 years old at the time of the incident, is represented by attorney Wendell Alexander. A 16-year-old male who was also implicated in the case was sentenced last year to 3 years imprisonment, the maximum penalty permitted under juvenile sentencing guidelines. The trial continues before a High Court judge. The Environmental Awareness Group has announced 2 key leadership appointments aimed at supporting the organization's continued growth and conservation efforts across Antigua and Barbuda. Monifer Thomas has been appointed Executive Director of the organization, succeeding Dr. Maribeth Scott. Thomas joined the EAG in 2020 as an accountant and has spent the last 3 years developing extensive knowledge of the organization's operation, mission, and long-term strategic objectives. According to EAG Board President Jervin Jarvis, Thomas' experience within the organization and strategic focus make her well positioned to lead the EAG into its next chapter. Speaking on her appointment, Thomas said she was honored to assume the role and looked forward to working alongside staff, partners, and communities to advance environmental protection and sustainability initiatives throughout Antigua and Barbuda. The EAG also expressed gratitude to former Executive Director Dr. Maribeth Scott for her contributions and service during her tenure with the organization. Meanwhile, Joshua Wilson has been appointed Antigua Marine Conservation Program Coordinator. Wilson previously served as the EAG Wildlife Officer, where he played an integral role in conservation initiatives and field operations. In his new position, Wilson will oversee the coordination and implementation of marine conservation programs focused on protecting Antigua and Barbuda's marine ecosystem, promoting environmental education, and strengthening community partnership in conservation efforts. Board President Jarvis described Wilson's appointment as a natural progression in his career, citing his dedication, experience, and continued professional growth within the organization. Wilson said he was grateful for the opportunity and looks forward to building on his experience to further contribute to the protection and sustainable management of the country's marine environment. The Environmental Awareness Group says the appointments reflects its commitment to advancing biodiversity conservation, environmental education, ecosystem restoration, and sustainable development through Antigua and Barbuda. Antigua and Barbuda has renewed its call for measures to ease the cost of living across the region, with Minister of Foreign Affairs, Immigration and Trade, Honorable E.P. Chet Green, leading the country's delegation to the 62nd regular meeting of the Council for Trade and Economic Development, COTED, and presenting a request for the extension of the suspension of the common external tariff on a range of basic food items. The meeting was held from June 11 to June 12, 2026 at the CARICOM Secretariat in Georgetown, Guyana, bringing together regional policymakers to address key trade and economic issues affecting member states. Addressing the Council, Minister Green outlined Antigua and Barbuda's proposal to extend the suspension of the CET on selected essential food products for an additional year, citing the continuing impact of global economic challenges on food prices and supply chains. With numerous ongoing global crises affecting trade throughout the world, our vulnerable economies have undoubtedly felt the effect, Green told the Council. The disruption in energy markets has adversely affected global supply chains, unsettled financial markets, and increased the prices of basic goods. As leaders, we must respond to these challenges. He noted that the proposed extension is intended to provide continued relief to consumers across the region as governments grapple with inflationary pressures and food security concerns resulting from external economic shocks. Antigua and Barbuda has previously secured approval for a similar measure at an earlier quoted meeting, according to Green. That decision contributed to a reduction in the prices of several food items, providing meaningful relief to households throughout the Twin Island nation. Beyond the tariff request, the minister encouraged CARICOM member states to strengthen their productive capacity, foster entrepreneurship, and embrace technological innovation to ensure the region remains competitive in an increasingly dynamic global economy. The two-day meeting also examined several key regional priorities, including an assessment of the CARICOM single market and economy, the advancement of regional digital trade policy developments within the multilateral trading system, and CARICOM's external economic and trade relations. COTED serves as one of CARICOM's principal decision-making bodies and is responsible for promoting trade and economic development throughout the community. It also oversees matters related to the operation and advancement of the CSME. Joining Minister Green at the meeting were Antigua and Barbuda's Ambassador to CARICOM, His Excellency Dr. Clarence Henry, Deputy National Authorizing Officer Ms. Barbara Williams, Senior Foreign Service Officer Mr. Kurt Williams, and Project Development Officer Ms. Alita Cabral. The delegation participation underscores Antigua and Barbuda's continued commitment to regional cooperation and the pursuit of policies aimed at strengthening economic resilience and providing the well-being of citizens across the Caribbean. And the Medical Cannabis Authority, MCA, wishes to address inaccurate public commentary arising from a recent law enforcement operation concerning unauthorized cannabis cultivation in Pears Village. The MCA issues a statement to clarify its position and to assist the public in understanding the legal framework governing cannabis in Antigua and Barbuda. The MCA confirms that the entity, which was the subject of the enforcement operation, does not hold and has never been granted a sacramental cannabis authorization or a medical cannabis license of any kind. The MCA further advises the public that no organization in Antigua and Barbuda has been authorized by the authority to extend, share, or confer cultivation rights on any other person or group. Any sacramental authorization belongs solely to the religious body to which it is granted and does not cover unaffiliated individuals or unapproved locations. Any person cultivating cannabis in any community on the strength of a claimed association with an authorized body is acting illegally. For the public's understanding, sacramental cannabis authorization under the Cannabis Act 2018 is a privileged activity guided by laws, and it is granted only to a recognized religious body which may only cultivate the quantity of cannabis approved by the authority on its designated lands and only for the benefit of its registered congregation. Religious bodies with sacramental cannabis authorization are subject to inspections and are prohibited from selling commercially and supplying persons outside their authorized congregation. The MCA takes this opportunity to make clear that this matter casts no shadow on the Rastafari communities unlawfully holding sacramental authorization in Antigua and Barbuda. These communities applied through the established process, operate within the conditions of their authorization, and continue to be valued partners in the development of a lawful, well-regulated framework of which this country is a regional pioneer. Persons seeking information about the industry may contact the Medicinal Cannabis Authority or visit mca.gov.ag. You'll be listening to WTP's News Update. Do join us each weekday for an updated edition of the news. Please stay tuned for the weather report. I have been your presenter, CJ Derby. Good morning.
Here's a look at the local weather forecast for Antigua and Barbuda. This is valid until 8 a.m. tomorrow, Wednesday, 17th June, 2026. A relatively dry and stable air mass associated with a ridge of high pressure will continue to persist and restrict shower activity across the area during the next 24 hours. Today we can expect partly sunny skies in general, with a 20% or slight chance of a brief light shower. Tonight, fair to partly cloudy skies in general. Winds will come from the east at 11 to 30 kilometers per hour or 7 to 18 miles per hour. Seas will range between 1.2 to 1.8 meters or 4 to 6 feet. Rainfall thus far for the month of June stands at 10.4 millimeters or 0.41 of an inch. Today we expect a maximum temperature of 33 degrees Celsius or 91 degrees Fahrenheit and our overnight low of 24 degrees Celsius or 75 degrees Fahrenheit. We also expect a low temperature tonight of 24 degrees Celsius or 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Sun will set today at 6:42 p.m. and rise tomorrow at 5:33 a.m. This is the end of the local weather forecast. I am Bernard Simon for the Antigua and Barbuda Meteorological Services at the VC Bird International Airport.
This is WTP Radio, 93.5 FM. Coming to you from the biggest village in Little Antigua.
Calypso, Calypso. Feel the rhythm, feel the power, feel the culture of Antigua Barbuda. Friday, July 31st, the stage is set for the most powerful voices, the sweetest melodies, and the real spirit of Carnival. It's the Cavalier Rum Calypso Monarch Finals live at Carnival City. Will the reigning Calypso Monarch be defending her crown?
The harder they shake, the harder I coming back.
One stage, one microphone, one crown. Who will rise? Who will conquer the Calypso throne? Tickets only $40. Friday, July 31st. It's the Cavalier Rum Calypso Monarch Finals, Carnival City.
When you're having your big life and want everything go fine, there is one place in Antigua that will help you have good times. Grab all liquors, dancing, stockyard, and of course, cause you will see they've got everything for occasion, life, and even party. All the very best in liquors for much less than you expect. Come to Bravo Liquors for the best of time to sure to get. Rum and scotch and vodka, even wines and cigarettes. Cigars, juices, wines and liquors that we ain't finished yet. Bobby flavors, soda, soft drinks, coolers, drinks, and even scotch. Bravo Liquors in Antigua is where you find it at. Bravo Liquors, Bravo Liquors, Bravo Liquors, Bravo Liquors, Bravo Liquors, Bravo Liquors, Bravo Liquors.
Veggie World, your health we maintain. Veggie World, real life is sustained. Garden Cafe, for the best eats in the nation. Garden Cafe, where great tasting nutrition.
Veggie World, your health we maintain. Veggie World, where life is sustained. Come visit us today on Upper Redcliffe Street. Telephone number 268-562-0437 or email veggieworldanu@yahoo.com. While you're here, check out our Garden Cafe for the best plant-based eats in the nation. Garden Cafe, where great taste meets nutrition. Telephone 268-727-4437. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Veggie World Health Food Store. Veggie World, where life is sustained.
Tune into the Med Lounge on WTP 93.5 FM every Tuesday from 7 to 8 p.m. Brought to you by State Insurance Company Limited. Join Dr. Rashida Williams and her guests as they share their insights on wellness and disease management. Discover the benefits of supplements, nutraceuticals, and holistic health solutions to take control of your well-being. Don't miss the Med Lounge, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. on WTP 93.5 FM. Proudly sponsored by State Insurance Company Limited. Live in a better state of mind.
Are you ready?
Last year, we had a party, but this year, we are back for an encore performance.
Are you ready now?
It's the Long Bay Lager Caribbean Melting Pot. Thursday, July 30th, 8 p.m. sharp. Carnival City comes alive.
Showtime in 5, so let we start it.
With the undisputed king of soca, Marshall Montano. Alongside the soca general, Skinny Fabulous. From Grenada, bringing pure jab energy, Muddy. Antigua's reigning soca monarch, Tian Winter. And the carnival baby herself, Tizzy. Straight out of Dominica, Triple K International. Listen out for a heavy supporting cast. This year is the most epic ultimate encore performance. Early bird tickets are only $100. House of Rhythm, $350. Limited offer. Tickets available on the ticketing app and select ticket outlets island-wide. Feel the rhythm of the Caribbean. Catch the encore performance. Let it go!
Hi there, I am DJ Governor Slim, inviting you to join me for your Nighttime Groove, Mondays through Thursdays from 10 p.m. until 1 a.m. and on Saturdays for your weekend mashup from 1 until 3 on WTP Media Network 93.5 to the world at www.wtpantigua.com.
Antigua, raise your flag high. It's carnival time. You feel it? I feel it. Feel the rhythm now.
You feel it? The Caribbean's greatest summer festival is here. Bigger, louder, and sweeter than ever. Feel the rhythm from July 25th to August 4th, 2026. Feel the rhythm. Feel the rhythm of mass. Feel the rhythm of music. Feel the rhythm of our culture. Experience non-stop vibes, unforgettable moments, epic fests, and the energy that only Antigua Carnival can deliver. Mark your calendars now and don't miss a single show, a single fete, or a single jam. Stay connected and follow the rhythm. Facebook at Antigua Carnival. Instagram at Antigua Festival Official. Antigua Carnival 2026, July 25th to August 4th, 2026. Come feel the rhythm.
Every Tuesday from 8 p.m., the Honorable E.P. Chet Green and his team delivers the information and debates without prejudice. Yes, the news that matters for you all listeners. So much more than a talk show. We take you beneath the surface. Every Tuesday at 8 p.m. with the Honorable E.P. Chet Green and his friends on WTPAntigua.com, WTP FM 93.5 and 93.7.
It's the stuff you could miss unless you look.
Oh, no, no. Paradiso water, fresh for the vibe. Ozonated pure, keep your cool inside. From Antigua to Barbuda, the island choice. Best price, best taste, hear the people rejoice.
When the sun come hot and the road get long, Paradiso water keep you moving strong. Crystal clear, clean and right, refreshing every sip, day or night.
Twin Island style, let the good times roll. Pure water blessing everybody and soul. Cool, clean, crisp, that's the way it go. Paradiso water make the whole place glow. Paradiso water, fresh for the vibe. Ozonated pure, keep you cool inside. From Antigua to Barbuda, the island choice. Best price, best taste, hear the people rejoice. Oh, oh.
Pool party, beach day, road trip too. Paradiso water coming through for you. Premium quality, island fresh and clean. The #1 water in the Caribbean scene.
Paradiso, Paradiso, drink and feel alright. Pure island water shining day and night. Paradiso water, taste the difference now. Best price, best taste, they love it somehow.
This is WTP Radio, 93.5 FM, coming to you from the biggest village in Little Antigua.
It's your carnival baby T-I-Z-Z-Y Tizzy, and right now you're locked on to the Buzz 268 with CJ on 93.5 FM.
Here's the next big thing on radio. It's the Buzz 268 with CJ the Maestro on WTP 93.5, and get your daily dose of music, views, reviews, interviews, and the latest happenings locally, regionally, and internationally. Tune in Monday to Fridays, 9:30 a.m. until. Listen to the next big thing on radio. It's finally here. The Buzz 268. Blessed good morning to each and everyone out there. How you guys are doing? Yeah, now in tune to the Buzz 268 right here on WTP 93.5 FM. And I must apologize. We were going to be doing a little bit different this morning. For those of you who are watching via Facebook and YouTube, you'll be able to see the opening of Parliament right here. And we're going to go straight to that because it has already started.
Opportunity to welcome the two newest members of Parliament who were just officially sworn in this morning. Welcome, gentlemen, to this honorable house, and I pray too that our meeting here again today and going forward will be very fruitful as we continue to do the business of the people. Again, welcome, and to those seated in our gallery. Again, we are always happy to see persons in our gallery, recognizing that you show an interest in the proceedings of this honorable house. Again, thanks and welcome to all. Madam Clerk.
Presentation of petitions. Presentation of papers and reports from select committees.
Mr. Prime Minister, could you give me a second, please? Sure. 1 second, I missed something immediately. I have apologies from a number of parliamentarians. Sorry, it's right in front of me. And the Honorable Maria Brown will not be with us today. She is ill, and so she will not be joining us today. The Honorable Anthony Smith will be joining us late. He has an accountability seminar at IICA, and he said that he missed the first one as Parliament, and so he will be here later at the end of that ceremony. Minister Randy Baltimore is also away on official government business, so he will be absent from the sitting today, and also the Honorable Michael Joseph on government business. And so we have apologies from these 4 members of Parliament. Honorable Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to lay on the table the following statutory instruments. 1, Statutory Instrument Number 35 of 2026, the Merchant Shipping Designated Authority Regulations of 2026. 2, Statutory Instrument Number 40 of 2026, Notice by the Minister on the Section 1 of the Paradise Found Project Act of 2015. 3, Statutory Instrument Number 42 of 2026, the Antigua and Barbuda Sales Tax Manufacturing Exemptions Regulations, Amendment of Schedule Number 2 Order 2026. 4, Statutory Instrument Number 43 of 2026, the Revenue Recovery Charge Exemption Number 2 Order of 2026. 5, Statutory Instrument Number 46 of 2026, that's noticed by the Minister under Section 1 of the Special Economic Zone Act of 2015. 6, Statutory Instrument Number 47 of 2026, noticed by the Minister under Section 1 of the Antigua and Barbuda Insertion by Investment Amendment Act 2016. 7, Statutory Instrument Number 51 of 2026, Investment Authority Amendment Act 2019, date of commencement order 2026. 8, Statutory Instrument Number 52 of 2026, Investment Authority Amendment Number 2 Act of 2019, date of commencement order 2026. 9, Statutory Instrument Number 53 of 2026, noticed by the Minister under Section 1 of the Representation of the People Scrutineers Pension Act 2022. And 10, Statutory Instrument Number 57 of 2026, the Eastern Caribbean Deposit Insurance Corporation Agreement Act 2025, date of commencement order 2026.
I recognize the Honorable Attorney General.
Mr. Speaker, with respect, I beg to lay on the table, Mr. Speaker, the following statutory instruments. Number 29 of 2026, the Prevention of Terrorism, Specific Entities Accounts and Property Freezing Order 2026. Number 30 of 2026, the Antigua and Barbuda Labor Code Minimum Basic Wage Order 2026. 33 of 2026, proclamation dated the 31st of March 2026, dissolving Parliament. Number 39 of 2026, proclamation dated 11th of May 2026, appointing the place and time for the first session of Parliament. Number 49 of 2026, noticed by the Minister under Section 1 of the Law Miscellaneous Amendments Act 2016. Number 54 of 2026, noticed by the Minister under Section 1 of the Anti-Gang Act 2024. Number 53 of 2026, Mr. Speaker, noticed by the Minister under Section 1 of the CARICOM Arrest Warrant Act 2025.
I recognize the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs and Member for St. Paul.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to lay on the table the following statutory instruments. Number 13 of 2026, Prevention of Terrorism, Security Council Resolution Amendment Number 12, Order 2026. Statutory Instrument Number 26 of 2026, Prevention of Terrorism Security Council Resolution, Amendment 13, Order 2026. Statutory Instruments Number 27 of 2026, the Prevention of Terrorism Security Council Resolution Amendment Number 14, Order 2026. Statutory Instruments Number 2028 of 2026, the Prevention of Terrorism Security Council Resolution Amendment Number 15, Order 2026. Statutory Instruments Number 31 of 2026, the Prevention of Terrorism Security Council Resolution Amendment Number 16, Order 2026. Statutory Instrument Number 32 of 2026, the Prevention of Terrorism Security Council Resolution Amendment Number 17, Order 2026. Statutory Instruments Number 34 of 2026, the Prevention of Terrorism Security Council Resolution Amendment Number 18, Order 2026. Statutory Instruments Number 36 of 2026, the Prevention of Terrorism Security Council Resolution Amendment Number 19, Order 2026. Statutory Instruments Number 37 of 2026, the Prevention of Terrorism Security Council Resolution Amendment Number 20, Order 2026. And finally, Mr. Speaker, Statutory Instruments Number 38 of 2026, the Prevention of Terrorism Security Council Resolution Amendment Number 21, Order 2026.
I recognize the Honorable Minister of Tourism, Civil Aviation, Transportation and Investment, and Member for St. John's Rural North.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, Mr. Speaker. I beg to lay on the table the following statutory instruments. Statutory Instrument Number 48 of 2026, noticed by the Minister under Section 1 of the Advanced Passenger Information Act 2016. Statutory Instrument Number 50 of 2026, noticed by the Minister under Section 34 of Tourism Licensing and Classification Act 2019. And finally, Statutory Instrument Number 56 of 2026, Non-Citizens Undeveloped Land Declaration of Undeveloped Land Number 5, Order 2026.
Recognize the Honorable Attorney General.
Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the Minister of Wellness, Health and Civil Service Affairs, I beg to lay on the table the following statutory instrument. Number 41 of 2026, Public Health Act Declaration of a Dangerous Infectious Disease Order of 2026, Mr. Speaker.
Madam Clerk.
Prime Minister's questions.
I recognize the Honorable Leader of the Opposition, Member for All Saints East and St. Luke.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, can the Honorable Prime Minister update this? The 100 million loan intended to finance the National Road Project, and whether or not it would have been accessed.
Recognize the Honorable Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, we have not drawn any proceeds from the loan as yet. It remains undrawn, but we hope to commence accessing the facility from later this month.
Could the Honorable Prime Minister tell this Honorable House, update this Honorable House on the progress and plans for completion of the road repairs, especially All Saints Road and Sir Sidney Walling Highway?
Mr. Speaker, road repairs will take years. We have thousands of miles, and evidently it's going to take us a number of years to substantially resolve the road issue. However, we've made significant progress, and similarly with All Saints Road, we have decided to utilize the services of Public Works. They're doing an excellent job. I don't have a precise timeline in terms of when it will be completed, but from all indications, it will be completed with less than half the proceeds that the Canadian firm had requested to do the 13 miles of road leading into English Harbour. In any case, they are doing good work, and work is progressing steadily. So even though I don't have a precise timeline, I presume that perhaps in the next couple of months, we should make significant progress and would be nearing completion.
Mr. Speaker, can the Honourable Prime Minister update this Honourable House on the cost of the Sir Sidney Walden Highway to date? Factory Road. Factory Road. From Spruggle gas station straight up to Willikes.
Mr. Speaker, that road was bundled in a package that cost the government about 100 million EC dollars. It's a loan that was approved by the Caribbean Development Bank, and CO Williams won the contract. So there was no specific allocation to any of the roads. There are a number of roads, including Valley Road, Old Palm Road, and Factory Road. So for me to give you a specific amount, evidently you're better off putting that question to Public Works to get the precise amount that was allocated to that road.
Can the Honourable Prime Minister update this Honourable House on the plans for the industrial park slated for North-South near the stadium?
Mr. Speaker, we do not necessarily have an industrial park. If the member is referring to the fact that a number of individuals have been given land in that area and that they're building out various businesses, then I can understand. But it's not an industrial park per se. I can tell you, for example, one of the persons who got about 2 acres of land there is Mr. Craig White. And he's building, I believe, a hardware store there. So it's not an industrial park per se.
Mr. Speaker, can the Honourable Prime Minister tell this Honourable House where is the office of the Information Commissioner?
Mr. Speaker, I just got an update from the member for City South. I'm told that there's still some work to be done in the building. It's the same location on High Street, the Francis Trading Building.
Mr. Speaker, can the Honourable Prime Minister give an estimation as to the time that that office will be ready for the Information Commissioner to occupy it?
The AG has just advised me within 6 months.
Mr. Speaker, finally, can the Honourable Prime Minister tell this Honourable House why some civil servants are yet to receive the back pay they were promised by December of 2025?
Mr. Speaker, there has been gaps in the information. So, for example, a number of ministries and departments would have submitted incomplete lists to the Treasury. I can tell you, for example, that the police, a number of police officers were left off the list, perhaps inadvertently. And that seemed to have happened from time to time in various ministries. I can assure the member for Austin, East and St. Luke and the public in general is not a money issue. The issue is about having complete documentation. There's also a situation in which a number of people are making claims to back pay when they're not eligible. So individuals who left the service before 2018, they're not eligible. And we have individuals who have left the service over a decade ago who are literally going to the Treasury demanding the back pay. And when they indicate to them that there's nothing for them, then they go on social media and say and state that they have not gotten their back pay. There may also be some who would have joined the service within the last year or so, or months ago. They too are looking forward for back pay, but they're not eligible. Then you also have contract workers who are not eligible, and they too are making demands for back pay. So I've been advised up to yesterday by the financial secretary that there's some small gaps in terms of a few people who have not been paid, but this notion that there's a large amount of people who have not received their back pay, that is not so. In any event, we have asked the Treasury officials to be a little more responsive, especially to those who are making genuine claims, because what seems to be happening is that they go to the Treasury, and the Treasury staff there is not very responsive. I'm told that sometimes they're rude to these people. I even asked the financial secretary to arrange some form of customer service training for those in the Treasury Department, because they're just worsening the situation. I mean, just imagine someone's name gets left off a list inadvertently. They're looking forward to their back pay. They have not received it after a few months. They go into the Treasury only to be dealt with in a rude and crude way. So the issue of customer service within the Treasury will be addressed very soon. And again, I just want to reassure those who may not have gotten their back pay that what is required for them to go to the ministry in which they're working or where they last worked, if they have left the service, and to speak to the PS. The PS should be able to determine whether or not the documentation is in the Treasury. And what is happening too, you have some who have left the service, and the ministry staff, they fail to do the research. Yes. I mean, sometimes, these documents, they may be in even different areas, and instead of doing the research and getting a full picture as to what has happened, where the person worked, in what ministries, and how much is due to them, they just fail to do the necessary research. So that we're faced with a number of problems that we're addressing, but we're hoping that perhaps within a matter of a couple of months we can resolve this issue fully. But again, I reiterate, it's not an issue of not having the resources. You have seen the amount of monies you're spending doing different things. So it's not a matter of not having the monies to pay the back pay. And I'll add here, in summing up and closing, wrapping up this question, that we're the first administration, certainly since independence for sure, and perhaps maybe in the history of the country, that would have brought back pay fully up to date. It has never happened before. And I want to reiterate that many administrations would have paid back pay, but they never ever brought the full amount up to date. It's the first time in the history of this country. So we feel proud that the majority, or the greater majority of the people of this country have been paid in full, and we owe them nothing, no back pay whatsoever, barring the few individuals who, for various reasons, may not have had their back pay as yet. Thank you very much.
Mr. Speaker, could the Honorable Prime Minister tell this Honorable House whether or not his government would have conducted a labour market survey, and if so, when was the last one conducted?
I believe we last did a labour survey probably dating back to about 2016, 2017. I will accept that we need to do a current one. But we all know, at least anecdotally, that it's practically full employment in this country. In fact, there are people coming into this country literally on a daily basis and obtaining employment. Not just looking work, obtaining employment. And part of the problem that we have too is that a number of our Antiguans and Barbudans are not making themselves available to work for jobs for which they qualify. Many of them are seeking jobs for which they do not qualify. So we have a developing cultural problem within the society. We've been told too that even the reliability of a number of our workers is questionable. We are having a lot of complaints now from the private sector that our people look forward to routinely take their sick days, in inverted commas, so they don't have to be sick. As far as they're concerned, the law allows them to take 12 days. So if they want to go to a fete tomorrow, they'll take a day off. Or many of them colleagues, they go to these fetes and they don't have the sensibility and the responsibility to make sure that, they're available to work the following day. So they will just take the damn day off if they're drunk, if they're tired. our people have to step up, because what seems to be happening too, the requests for work permits, they're increasing. It's a matter that has occupied the attention of the cabinet, to the extent that we have centralized the granting of work permits. But as we preside over these requests on a weekly basis, we recognize that in many instances, our people just don't wish to fill the jobs. They don't want security jobs, they don't want home domestic. Nowadays, they don't even want hotel jobs. Now, these businesses have to operate. There's a gentleman who wrote to me up to this morning. He said that he was without a store clerk down a Heritage Key for nearly 2 months. Just couldn't get an appropriate person. And again, we have a problem here that we have to address. Our people have become a little more responsible. I keep saying to them, you don't wait until you get the job that you desire. Do something, take something, rather than staying at home. Even if it's a minimum wage job, at least you'll be able to cover some basic expenses. So again, I'm pretty convinced that we practically have full employment, and that those who are not employed is that they're either not willing to work or they're unavailable to work.
Finally, Mr. Speaker, can the Honorable Prime Minister tell this Honorable House what led to the workers who were newly employed by the Public Works Department be asked to stay home until they get a call from the department?
Mr. Speaker, we took on an unprecedented 700 or 800 individuals at Public Works. Did not discriminate against anyone. Some of them had very bad habits, very bad behaviors. And what is happening? They're literally dropping out on their own. Again, it's a situation in which a number of them don't even want to work. And that is the issue. They give all kind of excuses as to why they're not on the job, but there's no policy decision of my government to terminate anyone. They're just dropping out, and some of them too, they just want to say they have a government job. And my understanding to a number of them, they have an existing job, but they're trying to come and lighter in government jobs. They're doing security and so on and not showing up for work. So in those situations where they're not working, then clearly they would have literally undermined the job prospects. But generally speaking, I'm told that a lot of them have just dropped out because they don't want to work. We have a problem, and it's a problem that we're trying to fix.
Mr. Speaker, my last follow-up question.
How many doors your building have? Because you said closing. Go ahead.
Mr. Prime Minister, could you update this Honorable House on what was the interview process to hire these individuals?
Well, I'm aware that the PS of Public Works in particular, she was the one who managed the process. And again, the bar was set very low. And the whole idea was to try and mop up any remaining unemployment. Even those who were just lying in the car and didn't want to work, even they too got an opportunity. Many of them were also utilized to repaint public buildings. And if you would have seen, a number of public buildings have been freshened up. And again, we're just having problems, getting them to work consistently. Not necessarily those who are painting the public buildings, but generally speaking, those who we have on the roads. Some of them have been literally, they've given them the job to even help to clean the side of the roads and so on. And we've said to them, look, find work for them to do, because many of them, they're just linemen on the job. We've said to them, even the beautification that we're trying to achieve, beautifying at the side of the roads with plants and so on, we have said to Public Works, just find something for them to do. I mean, use them to supplement the workforce. These are generally unskilled workers, but we don't want to give them any excuse to be liming, to wasting time and robbing people. You recognize that there are a number of them, especially some of them from what I see in the early 20s and so on, and some of them are teenagers, literally robbing people, pulling people's chain off their neck and so on. What we're trying to do is to give people like them an opportunity to work. In fact, we would have literally sought them out. Many of us on this side would have mobilized people from our constituencies, many who were known users of narcotics and so on. We said, look, we want to provide you an opportunity to work. Unfortunately, a number of them dropped out. We're not going to give up on them. We have to try again and see how we can find some way to them to be productively engaged, but it's a struggle.
Questions to ministers. Request for leave to move the adjournment of the House on matters of urgent public importance. Statements by ministers. Personal explanations. Motions with...
Madam Clerk.
Oh, sorry.
Yes, recognize the honourable member for All Saints East and St. Luke.
Thank you once again, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise just to use this opportunity, as it's the first sitting of Parliament, to say congratulations to the members on the other side on their success in the last general election. I also want to take this opportunity, Mr. Speaker, to say congratulations to you on your election once again as Speaker of the House, and to the Deputy Speaker, once a brother, Fillmore Benjamin. But, Mr. Speaker, most of all, I want to thank the wonderful people of All Saints East and St. Luke who would have trusted me for the third time with the affairs of managing that constituency and representing them. Mr. Speaker, it's not a situation, and while the members on the other side, they're saying that, thank the Speaker for voting for me, I want to say thank you, Mr. Speaker, because according to them, it was Old Road who took me over the mark, and I know your vote counted in that last election. But, Mr. Speaker, as we look at the way forward, and I want us to, I would have heard the Prime Minister mention it, but then I would have seen something totally different in terms of his actions and his utterances. But I want us to raise the level in which we debate in this Honourable House. And in order for us to do so, while we are the minority, Mr. Speaker, we believe we can make a significant impact in this country. And I'm asking, Mr. Speaker, for us to look at a different way forward than the last parliamentary session. I am committed to ensuring that the level of respect that I bring to this Honourable House is one that supersedes any. And also, Mr. Speaker, it is my intention to respect the chair at all times. However, it is my belief also that the chair and the speaker should respect and understand that the chair is not another member of parliament for the government side, but for us to have robust debate and for us to have meaningful discussions with an impartial speaker. Because, Mr. Speaker, I know that you're a man who believes in fairness, although sometimes it's not shown. But, Mr. Speaker...
I'm going to stop you there. I'm going to stop you. I'm not stopping you from your presentation. But I would want you to mention one occasion when I have not been fair. I have given you, Honourable Member, countless opportunities in this Honourable House. And when you're talking about being disrespectful and things like that, I would just want you to take an introspective look. Because I've never disrespected you. Never. And I'm not here for any side. I've given you umpteen, to quote the old people, opportunities. And I will continue to do so. But if I have to rule by the standing order, I will. If I have to do that, I will. I have never ruled outside of the standing order. If I have to use that, because that's the rule that governs this Honourable House. Thank you. Continue.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And if ever you felt disrespected by me, it was not intentional. And I can be mad enough to say if I disrespect you, Mr. Speaker, I do apologize for disrespecting you. But what I will say going forward, Mr. Speaker, is that I expect a wonderful working relationship where we can have say our piece, the government can say their piece, and we have a balance in this honorable house. So the people of Antigua and Barbuda can be comforted knowing the men and women they elected are doing the work of the state and on their behalf. So, Mr. Speaker, with those few words, I want to say thank you once again to the wonderful people out there in All Saints East and St. Luke, and I'm looking forward to a very interactive and robust session going forward. And also, Mr. Speaker, I am calling on the AG and the members of the House who deals with the circulations of bills to do so in a timely manner and to please give us the opportunity that we can research, come back to this honorable House and debate as we are to. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker.
MP Walker, you have anything to say at this time? You have an opportunity.
I was going to wait, but thanks, Mr. Speaker, for giving the opportunity to speak in this honorable House at this time. I want to, again, Mr. Speaker, just echo the sentiments of the member for All Saints East and St. Luke. Firstly, by congratulating you, Mr. Speaker, in coming back as chair and speaker of this honorable House. Mr. Speaker, I can recall when you were first elected to the chair that I called you personally after some rancor and tell you that I think that you do a good job. I want to say to you that I think you are doing a good job, and it's just that in this House, that balance has to be reached at all times when this House disintegrates at particular moments. I also want to congratulate the members on the other side, Member for City West in particular, for doing almost what V.C. Bird did in 1984, almost. Congratulate the members of that side for returning with an overwhelming majority. Mr. Speaker, people have spoken for whatever reason, and that must be respected. I also want to thank Mr. Speaker, Almighty God, and my family, in particular, for being at my side during a very interesting campaign season. Mr. Speaker, my political career seems to be different from most persons. The longer I go, is the more votes I get, and the larger my margin seems to be. So I want to thank them, thank the Lord, thank the people of Barbuda, and I can say here, Mr. Speaker, that my time in this honorable House, Mr. Speaker, is coming to an end. And I'll just leave it at that. But I pledge to serve the people of Barbuda, especially this particular term, with more vigor and with more determination to ensure that what we have stood for in the past, Mr. Speaker, get concretized in a way that's not threatened. And I just want to say to us in this House that I hope that, and we have no problem in cooperating, Mr. Prime Minister. We have no problem in cooperating. But I must say, Mr. Speaker, on the records, that we preferred not to be interfered with either. Leave us with our land. That is our land. It's ours. Leave us with it. And I've said that, Mr. Speaker. I don't want to get into that. But my thing here is, leave the Barbudans alone with their land. They've voted that way time and time again. Don't threaten us that you're going to come and bulldoze, demolish. You want to come to Barbuda to demolish, Mr. Speaker? You can't even demolish things over here that's built illegally. Anyway, Mr. Speaker, again, thank you very much. And I hope that this particular tenure and term will be very productive and consequential, Mr. Speaker, so that the Parliament and the people of Antigua and Barbuda can be better off going forward. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Madam Clerk.
Motions relating to the business of sittings of the House and moved by a minister. Introduction of bills.
Recognize the Honorable Prime Minister.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move the first reading of the following bill for an act shortly entitled the Citizenship by Investment Amendment Bill of 2026.
Citizenship by Investment Amendment Bill 2026.
I recognize the Honorable Attorney General.
Mr. Speaker, I move the first reading of the following bills for act short entitled Sexual Offences Bill 2026, the Theft Bill 2026, the Voluntary Bill of Indictment Bill 2026, Plea Negotiations and Agreements Bill 2026, the Cannabis Amendment Bill 2026, Workplace Violence and Harassment Prevention Bill 2026.
Sexual Offences Bill 2026, Theft Bill 2026, Voluntary Bill of Indictment Bill 2026, Plea Negotiations and Agreements Bill 2026, Cannabis Amendment Bill 2026, Workplace Violence and Harassment Prevention Bill 2026.
As the Honorable Attorney General.
Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the Minister of Health, Wellness, Environment and Civil Service Affairs, I beg to move the first reading of the following bills for act shortly entitled the Mental Health Bill 2026 and the Medical Laboratories Bill 2026.
Mental Health Bill 2026, Medical Laboratories Bill 2026, Public Business.
I recognize the Honorable Attorney General.
Mr. Speaker, by virtue of Section 774(3) of Standing Orders, Mr. Speaker, I move the following motion, and that is to say, Mr. Speaker, to carry forward the bill to be debated shortly, called the Fatal Accident Bill 2026. Mr. Speaker, Section 74 is particularly clear. It says, a bill shall lapse if Parliament is prorogued or dissolved before the bill has reached its final stage in Parliament. But Section 74, subsection 3 says this: the House may, notwithstanding paragraph 1, on motion, move without amendment or debate, agree to the resumption of the proceedings on the bill in the following session. The bills to be debated shortly, Mr. Speaker, were in fact tabled, read in the former session of Parliament. And, Mr. Speaker, I move by way of motion, Mr. Speaker, that we invoke the provisions of 74(3) to allow the Fatal Accident Bill to be debated on this section.
I second the motion, Mr. Speaker.
It has been moved and seconded that Section 74(3) of the Standing Order be invoked so that we can proceed with those bills that were formally tabled during the last session of Parliament. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Contrary-wise, the ayes have it. We'll proceed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And, Mr. Speaker, I shall start with the Fatal Accidents Bill of 2026. Now, what is this, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, the Fatal Accident Bill, presently in Chapter 166 of the Laws of Antigua and Barbuda, was passed on the 19th of March, 1924, over 102 years ago.
No cars.
So, Mr. Speaker, clearly speaking, that law really has no application fully to today's circumstances. Therefore, my staff, under the leadership of Mrs. Thomas, Chief Parliamentary Clerk, looked at the law and thought we ought properly to bring it to Parliament to reflect properly what prevails in today's society. I'm particularly pleased, Mr. Speaker, with this act, this bill, because one area being introduced for the first time is bereavement. Bereavement. That is this pain and suffering endured by dependents when a family member lost his life as a result of a traffic accident. However, when you go to committee stage, Mr. Speaker, I intend to ask that the amount prescribed in the bill be increased. $5,000 is what they recommended. I don't agree with that at all. Pain and suffering. There was a recent act, Mr. Speaker, where a young man was cutting the road, on All Saints Road, off the road, working for his family. Car smashed into that gentleman. All the bones of his body were crushed. His torso was twisted. And the family was made to endure that sort of pain and suffering. It's called bereavement. $5,000 clearly cannot be appropriate in situations like those, Mr. Speaker. So when we get to committee stage, I'm going to ask with respect, Mr. Speaker, that amount to be awarded by the court to be increased appropriately, drafters. $5,000, in my view, is far too small for bereavement. Bereavement. What is bereavement, Mr. Speaker? It says it's the state of sadness and grief expressed after the loss of a loved one. $5,000, Mr. Speaker, and under this act, it says that where there's more than one dependent, it must be divided among the dependents. So if you divide 5,000 by 3 or 2, come on. So we look at it when we come to committee stage, Mr. Speaker. However, let me add, Mr. Speaker, that this act really is appropriate in these circumstances. And talking about circumstances and fatal accidents, Mr. Speaker, listen. Since this government took the step to do repairs to the road, to give us nice, smooth road which runs from Mega Store right up the road, they're using the roads as race tracks. It cannot be right. I've spoken to my drafters, and I'm going to amend the law, Mr. Speaker, to ensure that when people use the cars as weapons and cause people to lose their lives, that on the spot, their licenses are suspended. This archaic thing about waiting till it's an autopsy and coroner's inquest and then charge rubbish. Wherever a car is used in that kind of fashion and somebody loses his life, clearly, Mr. Speaker, licenses should be suspended on the spot. Can you imagine, Mr. Speaker? And I say so because it is true. The last young man who lost his life, body smashed to bits. When you read the report, brain swollen, every bone in his body broken, and the man is still driving up to today, not yet charged. That cannot be right. That cannot be right. So I'm asking my drafters, address your minds to changing that law. Where it is obvious that an accident is a cause of willful, dangerous, careless, and reckless driving on the spot, give me your license. Give me your license. And now further, I want to tell the public that this Renaissance government is looking at things in a practical and logical way. Tell me, Mr. Speaker, how do you think families feel, the pain they endure, when they see a relative smashed to bits on the ground, and next day, the same man, my friend from St. Paul, is driving up and down the city? That cannot be right. So, that is going to come. But, Mr. Speaker, the bill is necessary. It's updating an act passed way back in 1924. And, Mr. Speaker, it is meant to make certain that persons who lose their life by reckless, dangerous driving, that their estate will be taken care of after they are gone. That has nothing to do with insurance coverage. It is something in addition to young man killed, 3 children, 4, 7, and 10. What happened to them? That can't be right. You can't tell me a 4, 7, 10-year-old, Mr. Speaker, doesn't suffer pain, bereavement, $5,000? Tall. Doesn't talk and go so. We're going to address that when the bill comes up for hearing. So, Mr. Speaker, this really setting out the steps by which a claim must be brought. A child under this amendment includes a son, a daughter, grandson, granddaughter, stepson, and so on. The parent means father, mother, grandfather, grandmother, stepfather, and so on. Dependent, Mr. Speaker, and Mr. Prime Minister, means this: a wife or husband. Any person who was living with the deceased in the same household immediately before the date of death. Living with the deceased in the same household immediately before the date of death. 2, a person who had been living with the deceased in the same household for at least 3 years before that date and was living during the whole of that period as the husband or wife of the deceased. Means any parent, any child or descendant of the deceased, etc. But, Mr. Speaker, all this is doing really is bringing this claim separately that can be brought by a dependent. And you know something, Mr. Speaker? And I'm glad about Section 6. It says, an action under this act may be brought by in the name of the person representative of the deceased, where there is no person representative, or where he fails to bring an action within 1 year, then any of the persons entitled under the estate can bring an act before the court. I'm happy with this, Mr. Speaker. Damages will be assessed in the normal state of offense or the civil procedure rules. But, Mr. Speaker, this government is concerned about what happens before we have antenatal clinics and treatment. During, we provide for you there. And where you are killed in Mazladis, we are concerned about your beneficiaries and your descendants. Mr. Speaker, it's a very simple bill, and I'm asking this House to look at this bill and give it your full support. But before I sit, I must say so again. The recklessness of the driving of persons in this community must be addressed now. On All Saints Road, my friend from St. Mary's South, he'll tell you about it. Coming from Seaview Farm into town, that turn by Licks has to be addressed. It drifts the car, Mr. Speaker, it drifts the car, Mr. PM, off the road. And those young, inexperienced drivers, driving at such great speed, cannot really control that. Speed kills, Mr. Speaker. Speed kills. So, Mr. Prime Minister, even though you promised the people of this nation beautiful roads, which they are, the driving is too reckless, sir. And we have to deal with them. The police have spoken to me on the matter, and as the AG responds with the police and the law, we will pass appropriate laws to bring an end to this reckless, indiscriminate driving on the streets of this nation. Mr. Speaker, I commend this bill for the House for debate.
Speaker, I second the motion, reserve the right to speak.
I recognize the honourable member for All Saints East and St. Luke.
Put your mic.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to make my contribution to the Fatal Accident Bill 2026. Now, Mr. Speaker, in my view, this piece of legislation is basically the modernization of CAP 166, which deals with fatal accidents. Now, Mr. Speaker, what I understand this bill seeks to do is to replace the archaic bill that exists today, and after passing this bill, would modernize it to contemporary legal structure. And I wish to highlight that positive about this piece of legislation, Mr. Speaker. I also like the fact that in Clause 2.1b, there is recognition of de facto spouses, which is Clause 2.1b. You know, the bill expands the definition of dependent to include individuals who are living with the deceased as a husband or wife for at least 3 years prior to death. Now, Mr. Speaker, this ensures that the partners in long-term stable relationships have the same legal standing as formerly married spouses. So, Mr. Speaker, those are positives for me in regards to this bill. However, Mr. Speaker, I believe, Mr. AG, we can strengthen this bill first by, as you mentioned, the $5,000 cannot be the fee or the expectation to cover the loss of bereavement, the loss of a loved one. Now, Mr. Speaker, to have this as a flat fee, Mr. AG, I think it's something that we need to look at, probably when we reach to committee stage. And my recommendation is to amend the clause to allow the minister to adjust the bereavement sum periodically via an order published in the Gazette, ensuring the value keeps pace with the cost of living without needing a full repeal or an amendment of the Act. So we can look at that, Mr. Speaker, AG, if that is. So rather than setting it to a solid figure, a fee of 5,000, 10,000, because inflation continues, you are able to move it, the minister is able to move it accordingly as inflation rises. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, the restrictive, I find section clause 4(2), damages for bereavement are limited strictly to spouse of the deceased or the parents. Now, Mr. Speaker, what I'm understanding is that this excludes children who have lost a parent and siblings who may have had close bond with the deceased. The exclusion of the children from bereavement awards is a significant gap in providing emotional solitude for the loss of a primary caregiver. So we can look at that also, Mr. Speaker. My recommendation is to expand the list of eligible claimants under Clause 4 to include children of deceased, recognizing the profound emotional impact of losing a parent. Also, Mr. Speaker, Clause 2, 1B2, to qualify as a dependent, a person living with the deceased as a spouse must have done so for at least 3 years immediately preceding death. Now, Mr. Speaker, I believe, Mr. AG, 3 years is a bit much. I believe we can probably look at 2 years, because you're saying that if we're not living together for 3 years, even though there's a child involved, you are not able to benefit. And I think we need to look at that and drop it down to 2 years. So also, Mr. Speaker, Clause 7.4b of the bill speaks to deduction of Social Security grant, speaks to the grant from Social Security. Now, while the bill prevents the court from deducting insurance or Social Security debt or supervisor benefit from damages, it specifically excludes funeral grant from this protection. So while you protect the other aspects of what you would have received as a bereavement grant from other, it doesn't cover funeral grants. So in my recommendation, Mr. Speaker, in Clause 4.7b, include funeral grants in the list of benefits that shall not be taken into account when assessing damages. I don't know if that makes sense to you or makes sense to the drafters, that we can look at it where funeral grants are added to the list and not just the $2,500. Also, Mr. Speaker, Section 6, now this has to do with the time the beneficiaries can take action. Clause 6.2b. Now, Mr. Speaker, let me just go through it in this. 6.2b. The personal representative, now let me read it from persons entitled to bring action. Clause 6. Where one states, an action under this act shall be brought by and in the name of the personal representative of the deceased. And 2, where the person is no personal representative, or B, the personal representative has failed to bring an action within 1 year of the date of the death of the deceased. The action may be brought by all or any person for whose benefit such action would have been if it had been brought by the personal representative. Now, Mr. Speaker, again, we're looking at bereavement. And 6 months, 1 year, if my understanding is correct according to this, the waiting period should be reduced, Mr. Speaker, to 6 months. If it's a year, I think that's a bit long. Because what should happen, Mr. Speaker, is that the personal representative must have a suitable time frame to initiate proceedings while allowing dependents to intervene sooner. If the representative is not able or the estate is not being managed efficiently, then you're going to have a situation where the process is drawn out even longer than the 1 year. And guess what? If there's a child involved, if there are children involved, they're going to have challenges in terms of accessing the benefit that they are to in that time frame. So, Mr. AG, for me, those are the things that, from looking at it and having discussions on this bill, that we can look at to see how we can strengthen this legislation. But I think it is also a piece of legislation that is forward-thinking. And as you mentioned, because a lot of these things happen during the to road fatalities. But there are other things surrounding it. But just to deal with that aspect, since you mentioned it, Mr. Speaker, since the AG mentioned it, I think we need to go back to some old-time days where police, men and women, used to be on the street with their radar, and that in itself is not going to solve the problem, but the presence and the fact that they have to pay for speeding. It will also help the Treasury, it will also help to finance, and it also, most of all, which is most important, help to reduce speeding on the roads. So I don't know, Mr. AG, if it's a situation in which it's an equipment problem, it's a manpower problem, but we need more police presence on the road checking for speeding. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker, if it pleases.
I recognize the honourable member for St. Peter.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker. Good morning to this honourable House. Mr. Speaker, I rise briefly to support the Fatal Accident Bill of 2026. I think this bill, Mr. Speaker, is long in coming, and I welcome what I read in this bill, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, for me, I am looking at, over the years, as the AG would have said, a number of persons would have died as a result of vehicular accidents. Could have been racing. You know, sometimes as young people, we like to set up on a beautiful piece of road, like what we're seeing now on All Saints Road. I mean, Mr. Speaker, I traveled on All Saints Road a week ago, and I came back to the cabinet and I said, boy, this road, smooth and nice and solid. And I was having a discussion with the Director of Public Works, and we were both saying to ourselves, boy, I hope we don't have any more fatalities or any accidents on this road, because the road is in tip-top condition where they've already worked, and the work is continuing, and we're going to see a better product where All Saints Road is concerned. So, Mr. Speaker, I am happy that this type of law is being put into effect to ensure that we can at least have some accountability to families who would have lost persons as a result of careless driving. But, Mr. Speaker, I want to go a little bit further and to recommend to the AG and to the police. I don't know if it's a part of our laws, but I think that it is time for us to have breathalyzer tests that are administered immediately on the scene of an accident. Because I can remember a number of years ago, I was going home from carnival celebrations with family members, and we were in a number of vehicles. And the vehicle in front got into an accident. And when we got on scene, Mr. Speaker, the driver of the person who ran into the vehicle, you could smell the alcohol from the time you came out the door. And the police came, people went in ambulances, but there was no administration of a test. No blood was drawn at the hospital. And I think that's something that's lacking in our force, in our laws, to ensure that we can ensure that drunk driving does not continue to cause accidents and deaths in this country. Mr. Speaker, with the fatal accidents bill, we tend to speak about vehicular accidents. But section number 3 says a person who by his or her wrongful act, neglect, causes injury to another person who later dies shall be liable to an action of damages notwithstanding the death of the person injured. Now, Mr. Speaker, what this is telling me, this act is telling me also, it goes beyond vehicular accidents. I'm a contractor, Mr. Speaker. So what this is telling me now, if I don't ensure that my construction site is safe and we're following all the safety rules, I am going to now become liable if a person is injured on my construction site. So, yes, we may have workman compensation and other resources, but this bill is providing another level of protection for workers on building sites who may die as a result of the work they do. So I think this is long in coming, Mr. Speaker. I support it. It is also a warning for truck drivers. You know, from time to time, Mr. Speaker, we like to transport construction workers on the back of a truck and workers on the back of a truck. Now, this bill again, if that person falls from the truck, you as the owner of that truck, you're going to become liable now for the death of that person. Because as the member for our says, East and St. Luke is saying, once you're riding in the back of a truck, it is not recognized or covered by insurance. And I think that is something that we have taken for granted over the years in this country, and it's something that we should discontinue in all honesty. And again, this bill is another warning for persons who engage in that type of practice, because though the bereavement section may speak about a 5,000, and we're going to look to increase it in the committee stage. 7 says assessment of damages. In any action under this act, the court may award such damages to beneficiaries of the deceased. It is basically saying, Mr. Speaker, there's another aspect to this bill. When you're taken before the court may now award further damages to the survivors of the person who is deceased. And Mr. Speaker, I look at it this way. If a father dies and he has two children in university overseas, and he's the breadwinner paying for the tuition, he's the breadwinner paying the bills, taking care of the family, the court now has the opportunity to ensure that the education is not disrupted because that person is not here with us today. So it can now leverage all that cost on the person who would have caused the death of that individual. Mr. Speaker, this bill, very forward thinking, I support it, and it is long time in coming. Thank you.
I recognize the honourable member for Barbuda.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. I just rise to make a small contribution to this bill. And to say, Mr. Speaker, that I'm happy that the Parliament is updating this bill that is, at least that is as old as it is. And just to say that I heard the member for St. John City West speak about bereavement, and that the $5,000, City South, $5,000 is not enough. But funny enough, Mr. Speaker, I was thinking along the lines of the member for St. Peter in terms of whether or not we make an adjustment to the 5,000. One has to be careful how we do that, because Section 7, as he just pointed out, when the matter is taken before the courts, there is a discretion here, there's an additional layer here built into the bill, where additional, and Mr. Speaker, I just want to read it again, in any action under this act, the court may award such damages to the beneficiary of the deceased as it thinks appropriate, to the pecuniary, financial, or other loss resulting from such debt to the parties for whom the benefit the action was taken. And so I'm of the view that you really can't pay for bereavement. You really can't. There's no sum that can be levied for bereavement. Accepted is that it has to be a realistic sum. All right? Because, Mr. Speaker, I'm not sure, but I mean, I can be guided as well. I mean, I'm not sure whether this bill or this act would bar someone from being sued. You're suing someone's estate for damages based on a loss. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, City West, but facilitating the suit? Okay, so it's basically, okay, the same thing. Because I was just wondering if a separate action can be taken outside of this. So this is the vehicle. This is the vehicle, all right? So, Mr. Speaker, as I said, I think that we have to look at whether or not we want to sort of stuff the bereavement section of this bill, or whether or not we want to get something realistic and look at how the bill would function in its practical terms. And I think Section 7 is that section, in my view, that give the bill the kind of teeth that can be used for certain instances. And, Mr. Speaker, the other thing is that I also believe we should place some emphasis on sort of preventing some of these things. I was on All Saints Road yesterday, and I'm very impressed with it, to be honest. I mean, I was surprised when I was told last night it's been done locally, right? So I want to commend Public Works, Craig Williams. I'm not sure if he's still there. And Mr. King, all those persons I worked with, I think I had some of them. They're still there when I was minister, all right, for doing a wonderful job. I mean, I was kind of surprised that it's been done in-house. But, Mr. Speaker, the point I want to make is this. I noticed, Mr. Speaker, that the police, for example, issue tickets. And that system, Mr. AG, is not working. I was in town 2 weeks ago when I was over here, Mr. Speaker, and I went to a particular place, and I asked the guy, I said, how is it that you park here? And the guy said to me, when he gets the tickets, he just throw them away. Literally, just throw them away. All right? Not saying it's a good thing or whatever, but we have to find a way to get a system that works. You understand? When you have a ticket in normal, well, in the West, and you don't pay it, there's something when you go to renew your car thing or whatever, it triggers something and your license gets suspended. There must be some consequence. So you're telling people that they must go to the magistrate court at a certain time or whatever and so on. People just don't bother with it, and nothing happens. There don't seem to be any link or connection to Transport Board. So we need to find a way, because if people can get away with things, Mr. Speaker, Plato said it, Mr. Speaker, if you can get away with it and there's no consequences, you're going to continue to do it. And so you have an issue there, and it brings me to speeding as well, because I think it's the same mechanism in terms of ticketing. We need to find something that works and try and prevent some of these things, Mr. Speaker. Right? I agree with St. Peter, breathalyzer test, etc. Let people know that there's serious consequences for their actions, because you really can't bring somebody back. None of us can. And you can pay me 2 million, 20 million, 5,000, 100,000 for bereavement, Mr. Speaker. A loss is a loss. And especially when it's negligence. You know, I could see if there's an accident in terms of stuff, but if a man put in the rum and decide to go party and it's 2 o'clock in the morning, so he figured that there's no traffic and just decide to be careless, he want to get home quickly and get into an accident, negligible, Mr. Speaker. I mean, that person should be locked up. That person should be locked up, Mr. Speaker. So at the end of the day, I think that we need to get serious in this country. I mean, Mr. Speaker, the government is the government, although my philosophical beliefs are different. The fact is the infrastructure built in this country benefits everybody. And so if that is the case and taxpayers' money are developing certain things, Mr. Speaker, there must be some checks and balances. You know, we had a bad accident in Barbuda a month ago where one person almost lost her life, still recovering, Mr. Speaker, major surgery. And again, I thank the Defense Force and the persons involved to allow that medevac to happen. And Mr. Speaker, no matter a couple of days, the man back in Barbuda, walking around like, well, you know what I mean, nothing has happened. How do you think the parents feel? I'm not saying whatever, so the action and what happens should be proportionate. Because, Mr. Speaker, it's getting very bad. All right? So I welcome what's here in this bill, Mr. Speaker. And again, my point is, in terms of bereavement, you really can't pay for that. And I just hope that we're able to ensure that persons understand the seriousness of this. I notice, Mr. Speaker, the limitations in Section 9 says here, Mr. Speaker, that no action on this act shall be brought after the expiration of 3 years after the death of, and goes on and on. So I was just wondering if the 3 years is embedded in the present law, or we're putting the 3 years there now. What's there now? All right? And I was wondering, this is a new law. Okay. All right? So in terms of limitation, I think it's reasonable, because I was wondering exactly if that was there before. Because after a certain time, I think there must be some level of closure to these things. So, Mr. Speaker, again, I think it's a decent bill. I think the government needs to do more to ensure the bill can work and ensure people understand the seriousness of it. And, you know, when it comes to bereavement, I would agree that we should take it above $5,000. But you really can't pay for bereavement, Mr. Speaker. You really can't. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Recognize the Honorable Attorney General.
Mr. Speaker, I'm very happy, Mr. Speaker, this morning that the debate has started on this level. Criticisms, constructive suggestions, all designed to improve the legislation. I sincerely hope that this continues at this level. When we're looking about the Renaissance and getting a new society together, we must work together in the interest of Antiguans and Barbudans. And you know, when I heard my friend from Austin who spoke this morning, I must tell you that we already have on the books legislation dealing with speeding, breathalyzers tests, the use of the radar gun. Those are being finalized now. My friend Mr. Johnson and Mr. Edwards brought it to my attention, and Mr. Hodge too. We had discussion on that just 2 weeks ago. So these things are in fact in train. And yes, they are there now, just to bring it into force. So when they pass, just to bring it into force by order of the minister. We're going to do that. And I'm glad, and I thank Mr. Fernandez, my friend from St. George Rural North, because Mr. Transport Board? Mr. Jarvis on Transport Board is in the process of getting for the department between 15 and 20 radar guns, bringing the equipment already. So these things that you suggested are good suggestions, and I'm asking you, continue that level of debate. Make constructive criticisms. Help us to address laws that benefit Antigua and Barbuda as a whole. So yes, those things are being done at the moment, and I am very happy that you noticed those things too. And Mr. Turner, my friend from St. Peter, you made an extremely important point. And I want to reiterate clause 3. A person who by his wrongful act, neglect, or default causes injury to another person who later dies shall, not may, shall be liable to an action for damages under this act, notwithstanding the death of the persons later. So, Turner, on your website, see, you make sure that your men are properly attired. Make sure that when they work on the roofs, they have this scaffolding protection thing and so on. And I want people, you know. Public, yes, well, beside the public works. All that will be addressed. But it must lead to a fatality. And you made a very important point. Persons, I noticed in the mornings when people going to work, a lot of people standing or on the ground, the back of trucks, loaded with 40, 50 workmen. That is unlawful. And if there's an accident, the insurance company will not cover you anyway, because that is not in the law. Some insurance companies go so fast to say, you must build some seating arrangements at the back of the truck. But even that too, in my view, ought not to be encouraged. So, Mr. Speaker, the points made by my friends will be taken on board at committee stage. We shall move forward. This government saw the need to do this. And yes, children ought to be included when we're talking about bereavement, because children suffer a lot too. I know for a fact that in the most recent death of this young gentleman, up to last week, the young boy was asking, where is my daddy? Suffering for his father. So yes, we shall look at it, my friend Mr. Walker, and make the appropriate changes in the legislation as we move forward. Mr. Speaker, I think this is a very good bill. It's timely, it's welcomed, and I'm asking, Mr. Speaker, with due respect, that the matter be committed to the committee to be considered clause by clause.
Mr. AG, crave your indulgence and on this bill before we go to the committee stage, because this, I'm not part of the debate, but this is very important to me. Not only this aspect, I mean, I concur with the bill, all the suggestions that were made. I grew up in a country where we had maybe 10% of the number of vehicles we have today. I just checked my license, and on the 30th of September next year, we'll make 50 years. I'm a licensed driver. And confession is good for the soul. I see a fellow police officer who grew up in the same village. I was driving long before that. I also grew up in a time when, in order for a vehicle to get my daddy's old Morris Oxford, the speedometer registered a top speed of 90. And in order to get it to 90, you had to literally hold on to the steering, press back, and with every ounce of strength, press on the accelerator. Now we have vehicles that go from 0 to 60 in seconds, right, on the road today. And so I uphold this bill. But what are the consequences for the persons who cause these accidents? I also grew up in a time when if you were charged and convicted with causing death by dangerous driving, you went home, put your house in order because you're going to 1735. It was the norm. It was the norm. Today, a slap on the wrist. It's true. Ask any time you have, when is the last time you heard somebody convicted of this crime and sent to prison? When we have all these, and I'm going to make some strong, idiots, lunatics on the roads. I'm almost scared to drive now. What is happening? I also think that it's time we follow other countries by upgrading the charge from simply causing death by dangerous driving to vehicular manslaughter, right? And some countries in the US, you even have vehicular homicide. Some of these traffic accidents where people die, it look like somebody planned to kill you. You can be driving on a road 90, 100 miles an hour. All of us drive, I'm sure you see some people overtaking you. This morning I saw somebody overtake about 10 vehicles on Factory Road and coming up to a corner. And I simply pulled aside and said, you know, if I have to turn around, you kill yourself up there. It's time for us to change these laws. I acknowledge this, I uphold it, but let's look at the perpetrators of this crime. Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay, now it's seconded. It has been moved and seconded that this bill be committed to the committee stage. All in favor? Contrary-wise, the ayes have it.
This is WTP Radio, 93.5 FM, coming to you from the biggest village in Little Antigua.
Sunday, August 2nd, one stage, two crowns, and non-stop energy. INET Party Monarch live at Carnival City. From smooth groovy vibes to pure shell-down power soca. The biggest artists, the maddest performances, the wildest energy, all in one night. Tickets are only $40. Feel the vibes, feel the energy, feel the rhythm.
Love Carnival was so badly. Can't get enough. Welcome to Antigua Mass.
Father's Day is this Sunday, and all week at WTP we are celebrating the incredible men who raised us. To treat them right, we've teamed up with the Wtp restaurant for a delicious lunch for two, and Clippers Barbershop for a fresh, free haircut. We want to hear about your dad. Is he your rock, your mentor, or just a guy who always makes you laugh? Listen in all week to share your stories and win it all for Dad this week. Celebrate Father's Day with WTP Media Network.
Just like you. Calypso.
Feel the rhythm, feel the power, feel the culture of Antigua Barbuda. Friday, July 31st, the stage is set for the most powerful voices, the sweetest melodies, and the real spirit of Carnival. It's the Cavalier Rum Calypso Monarch Finals live at Carnival City. Will the reigning Calypso Monarch be defending her crown?
The harder they shake, the harder I coming back.
One stage, one microphone, one crown. Who will rise? Who will conquer the Calypso throne? Tickets only $40. Friday, July 31st. It's the Cavalier Rum Calypso Monarch Finals, Carnival City.
This is WTP Radio, 93.5 FM, coming to you from the biggest village in Little Antigua.
Clause 4, bereavement.
Mr. Chairman, this is where we have some concerns. In this section, Mr. Chairman, there's no mention for bereavement for children. What it says, Mr. Chairman, an action under this act may consist of and include a case of damage for bereavement. That's simply so. But it goes on to say this. A claim for bereavement shall only be for the benefit of the wife or husband of the deceased, or the parents of the deceased, where the deceased was a minor or was never married. That, Miss Henry, is too restrictive. You're the drafter, right? Let's talk about this. We should really include children who suffer bereavement itself. Knows that what bereavement means? The loss of someone important, the grief that you sustain. Children suffer too. So don't you think we should include that in this one? And let me hear a suggestion.
Okay. And my question, rather than limiting it to children, what if the person is without children, without parents, but there's a sibling that they're closely related?
But it's covered. Was living with the same household immediately before the death of the person. That's covered on the 2-1. 2-1.
But it didn't clearly state sibling.
So it can be anybody.
It can be anybody.
That's what the parent notices it well too. Okay. Yes. Go on, Mr. Yes, Mr. Henry.
Question, AG. In 1B.
1B?
It outlines 1, 2, and 3.
No, where you comment? Where you?
No, I'm saying, but for the bereavement, because we're talking about the husband and wife, and then we want to add children, correct? But what about the same as in 1B, persons who are living in the same household who depend on that person? No, I'm not saying it's covered. I'm asking. In 1B, we laid out was living with the deceased at the same time of the household immediately before the death.
what it says, comrade, is that dependent means A, the wife or husband of the deceased. That's one. Two, any person who, one, was living with the deceased in the same household immediately before the death. That's one aspect. Any person. Two, had been living with the deceased in the same household for these 3 years before that date.
So my question is, can that requirement also be applied to the bereavement section?
I see.
That was the question.
No, you see, because this is a particular head that you're claiming on that head.
All right.
You see, but when you calculate damages in the courts, there are certain heads under which you can get certain damages. Loss of expectation of life. We're adding now bereavement. And there are steps set out as to how we compute loss of expectation of life. In our society, for example, a normal life is 65 working life of a person. If somebody dies at 26, you calculate from 26 to 65, and then you calculate it, the court will calculate that on your behalf, on another act. So this is specific to the Fatal Accidents Act only. Okay? Yes, Ms. Henry?
Okay, good morning, everyone. So, in order to ensure that children benefit from bereavement, we can insert a paragraph, which would be C, to say any children of the deceased. Okay, so the suggestion is we remove the word or at the end of paragraph A. This is 4.2. And then we put the word or at the end of B. And then we insert a new paragraph, which is C, any children of the deceased.
A new
paragraph.
Okay. All right.
What she's suggesting, we don't agree with her completely, is that benefit means child of the wife or husband of the deceased, the parents of the deceased, where the deceased was a minor or was never married, or a child, go on.
Any children of the deceased.
That's correct. You follow?
That includes a common law.
Yes, of course.
Any children.
Any children of the deceased.
So the court will decide.
The court make that determination. We discussed it, and the member for Barbuda raised the point as well. The sum awarded as damages under this section, under that act, shall be $5,000. You suggested to me.
Okay, so there are two suggestions. We can amend or adjust the amount to raise the amount to maybe 10,000, 20,000. It depends on
at least 20,000. Yes.
Right. Or we can remove the clause, and that would leave the amount to be awarded to the court's discretion. Okay, so we can adjust the amount, which is the 5,000, or we remove the clause, which leaves the award that would be the amount that would be awarded to the court's discretion. So the court will determine how much is an appropriate amount.
You have to provide some guidance.
Yeah, I'm really concerned about that. We can't leave it open to the court for two reasons. We have some principles nowadays that I don't agree with. Long modern business and liberalization and all kind of stuff. I don't like that. Put something in here.
When you say a maximum?
A maximum of. A maximum of. Yes, a maximum of. Yeah, a maximum. Could you put it to 20,000, please? No, up to 20,000.
But, AG,
Go on.
can't we amend the clause to allow the minister to adjust the bereavement sum.
No, the reason why you don't want the minister to get involved in that should be a judicial matter handled by the court system.
The courts, okay.
And not by the ministry itself. You know, you go so far, we don't want to intermingling with the executive, with judicial separation of powers. We make the law, they apply it.
So then anytime we come back and amend the...
We can always come back and change. We need to do that. And you know what is even more egregious about this matter too? Look at 4. Well, you know what 4 says, Mr. Turner? Read it. Where there is a claim for damages under this section, for the benefit of both parents of the deceased, the sum awarded shall be divided equally between them, subject to any deductions made and so on. You understand, PM? So if the husband, 5 by 2 is $2,500 for bereavement. Come on. Sorry?
Are we still leaving room for a lower figure? Because if we're saying up to 20,000, are we saying 20,000? Up to. So the... Yeah, but
you know why I say that?
Because judges have a tendency to just go with low ball figures, and then you end up with $2,500, 5,000. So, I mean, we've seen it happening in the courts now. So I'm saying, let us fix the fee, fix the amount. 20,000 is a fixed amount. That's the minimum.
Well, this is suggestion made by the chairman.
And not less than.
What the chairman is saying, said not less than.
Not less than 20,000. Yeah, that's what we should say.
You can go beyond that, but not
below that. You can go beyond that, but not less than 20,000.
Madam Drafter?
The code doesn't like when you subscribe.
But what if they can't pay? Then what? Huh? What?
Not less than.
Not less than 20,000.
What do you think?
I think 20,000 as a minimum is too high.
Say again?
I think 20,000 as a minimum is too high.
No, it's a maximum.
No, if you say not less than,
that's the
it's
minimum.
20,000 is the minimum.
Oh, I see, yeah.
Not more than 20.
Hold on, if I may, Mr. Chair. What I thought we were discussing earlier was a maximum of 20,000. But it sounds like we're now saying a minimum of 20,000.
That's because the fear of the judges is now going downwards.
Exactly. The judge is going to go to the...
So the same 5,000 I run from, if we say a maximum of 20, about $2,500.
Yeah, but when you say a minimum of 20,000, you might...
What's the value of the life of a person?
There was a suggestion that we put it not more than.
I think not more than is fine. So 20,000 is the maximum.
All right.
And then,
but
there's no minimum.
The code determines that.
But remember.
Otherwise, you're trespassing on their domain.
On the domain, that's correct. Separation of powers.
Right. And this is just a portion of the entire award. It's not the entire thing.
All right. So we agreed on not more than.
Not more than 20,000.
Not more than, yeah. Something they got to know, you know.
Depends on what's awarded, because if they award 10,000, you get the 10,000. But they can't go beyond 20,000. Yes.
Well,
yeah, bereavement.
Yeah. Bearing in mind, my friends, that this is in addition to an order in the court, you know, because mostly when you draft matters like these, this is a specific head, but others are there as well.
That's my point, because we can't stuff this too much. Because there are other things that can happen.
That's correct. Right. That's correct.
That's my point.
That's correct. That's correct. No more than is correct. No more than. That's all right.
My correction, but in the UK, they don't like to do in terms of child because it interferes with court investigations and they can make applications for defending children.
No, in Antigua, we're different. Our law is our law. British law don't apply here. So I don't agree with that at all. We must pass laws that are applicable to Antigua and Barbuda. I don't agree with that. Yes, my dear, go ahead.
Okay, so the clause will now read, this is 4.3. The sum awarded as damages under this section shall be not more than $20,000.
That's fine. Thank you.
Then what? Sorry.
No, another thing. Can we in law, gentlemen, Mr. Hodge, can we in law tell the court how to divide monies? Can we?
Nope.
We ought not to, you know.
Right.
Because we're saying here, where claim on this for the benefit and so on, the sum shall be divided. No, I don't think we should. Take that out, you think. It's offensive to the judge.
So you think may is a better word, or do you want to remove the clause?
I want to take it out completely.
Take it out completely and leave it to discretion.
The judge. Take it out completely. So take out 4 completely. What are your views in that, Turner? Any suggestion on that? Put on your mind.
AG, if a parent dies, his assets is automatically distributed along to the spouse and the children. Isn't that the case by?
That's if they die without a will.
If they die without a will.
It's subject to Intestate Estates Act, which has there's a priority that's outlined in the act.
Another important point has been made too, is that since we added C, then this will be out. Because this is contemplating 2 persons benefiting. But we added a C, children. So we have to take out 4 completely. And Mr. Hodge also made a suggestion, rather say not more than, not exceeding. Not exceeding.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hodge.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so taking that suggestion in mind, clause 3 will now read, the sum awarded as damages under this section shall not exceed $20,000.
Precisely, and leave it right there. Because since we inserted a new C.
Yes, we will be removing
precisely.
subclause 4.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Chair, put the question, please.
The question is that clause 4 as amended. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 5. Action to be for benefits of certain relatives.
For the benefits of. Put in there, please. Action to be for their benefit. The definite article there. Okay, yes, go on. Yes, please.
Any discussion on that?
No, that is fine.
Okay. The question is that clause 5 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 6. Persons entitled to bring action.
The question is that clause 6 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Be so bold as to raise the point to my colleagues at the House at the moment. It is being suggested that we should look at common law rights of persons who live together as an act. For example, husbands, men, boyfriends who live with their wives, girlfriends for a long time, and vice versa. And it is being thought that perhaps, like in Trinidad and Jamaica, we can have an act called the Cohabitation Act, or some act of that name to give right to persons who are unmarried, who live for years, contribute to the household, and so on. Think on these things and let us know your views, please, because that seems to be the way that most of the other countries in the Caribbean are going.
You're going down a particular road, you know. Watch it, huh?
Sorry?
You're going down a particular road with this thing. You got to, you know? We got criticized when we were in government for something called 1860. Remember that?
No.
Okay.
No. 1 second.
Okay. So.
Well, I can tell you one.
We'll think about it, but
yes,
just
I can tell you. I can tell you one thing. I don't think anybody over here would like this 1860 business. Because I'm not in the 1860 business, huh? Progress. Could you put clause 6, please?
Yes.
Clause 6, persons entitled to bring action.
The question is that clause 6 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 7, assessment of damages.
The question is that clause 7 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 8, contributory
negligence.
Contributory negligence.
All right. And this is important as well. I want the public to know, because you're listening to this debate as well, what clause 8 is indicating. Where a person dies as a result, partly of his own fault and partly of the fault of any other person, any damages recoverable under this action shall be reduced to an appropriate extent in accordance with his, proportionate, with his or her fault. It means it's called contributory negligence, where you voluntarily don't act, which results in your injury. Then the money you get will be reduced proportionately. Just to explain to the public. Please put it, Mr. Chairman.
The question is that clause 8 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 9, limitation of actions.
The question is that clause 9 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 10, action to follow civil procedure rules.
The question is that clause 10 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 11, act binds the crown.
The question is that clause 11 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 12, repeal of Cap 166.
The question is that clause 12 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
The enacting clause.
The question is that the enacting clause do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
And the title.
The question is that the title do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The House will now resume its sitting. I recognize the Honorable Attorney General.
Mr. Speaker, I am pleased to report that the bill shortly entitled the Fatalist Accident Bill has passed through the committee stage with some amendments. In those circumstances, Mr. Chair, Mr. President, Mr. Speaker, I move the adoption of the report of the committee on the bill.
Second motion, Mr. Speaker.
It has been moved and seconded that the report of the committee on the bill be adopted. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against say no. The ayes have it. I recognize the Honorable Attorney General.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that the bill shortly entitled the Fatal Accident Bill be read a third time and passed.
Second motion, Mr. Speaker.
It has been moved and seconded that the bill shortly entitled the Fatal Accident Bill 2026 be read a third time and passed. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against say no. I think the ayes have it. The bill will now be read a third time.
An act to revise the law relating to the bringing of actions with respect to fatal accidents caused by wrongful conduct and to provide for other related and connected purposes.
The bill has been read a third time and passed accordingly. I recognize the Honorable Attorney General.
Mr. Speaker, I miss your gavel, sir. The gavel normally falls, you see. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, just as the bill before, by virtue of Standing Order 74.3, I move a motion, Mr. Speaker, that the second bill to be debated today, the Magistrates' Court of Procedure Amendment Bill, be allowed to proceed under the ambit of Standing Order 74, subsection 1, which permits us to carry forward any particular action started in the last session.
Speaker, I second the motion.
It has been moved and seconded that according to our Standing Orders 74, Section 3, that we proceed with the bill shortly entitled the Magistrate Code of Procedure Amendment Bill 2026, which was started in the previous session of our Parliament. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against say no. The ayes have it. Proceed.
Mr. Speaker, this is yet another house cleaning situation, sir. It is called the Magistrates' Court of Procedure Amendment Bill 2026. Very, very short and to the point. This bill, Mr. Speaker, seeks to amend the Section 38 of the Magistrates' Court of Procedure Act 2025 in relation to the issuing of warrants. The amendment being sought today, Mr. Speaker, seeks to clarify the language used in Section 38. Section 38 has been copied and placed at the bottom of each member's bill today. Section 38, search warrant. Where a magistrate is satisfied on evidence upon oath that there is reasonable cause to believe that any property whatsoever on or with respect to which any larceny, notice larceny, or the felony has been committed is in any place or places, he may grant a warrant to search such place or premises for such property. And if the same or any part thereof found to be brought before the magistrate granting the warrant or some other magistrate in Antigua and Barbuda, and he can do so on a Sunday as well. Some clever lawyers have argued, sir, that this section limits search warrant to larceny. It says so. And it has caused some problems in the court. So we're coming here, Mr. Speaker, to clarify that this sort of argument will hold no water. So, Mr. Speaker, this is what it is saying in the new Act. Section 38. A magistrate may, if satisfied by information given on oath, grant a search warrant to search any place or places where there is reasonable cause to believe that an offense of any kind is being or has been committed, or that evidence in relation to any such offense is to be found in that place or places. In other words, the first provision talks about larceny and felony. We're going beyond that. Once we have evidence on oath that there's evidence in any place or places for any offense, once he's satisfied and the evidence given, a search warrant can be issued. And one of the important points is this too, is that we can do this on a Sunday. Normally you don't, but we're doing it on a Sunday as well too. Where evidence, Section 3, of any offense identified is found in the place or places upon which the warrant was executed, the evidence shall be brought before the magistrate granting the warrant or some other magistrate of Antigua and Barbuda. Now, sir, this is what the law now stands. Mr. Speaker, with respect, in the US of A, when a warrant is issued for a specific item, and you go to a house, and you found other items which are not in the warrant, you cannot move it. You cannot move it. It can be brought into court. Well, is that right? If you go to a house and you find other things which will lead you to believe that they could have been derived from crime or to be used for the commission of crime, you ought to have the right as a law enforcement officer to seize those things and take them before the magistrate and the court to be dealt with. We don't want to be as specific as the States is. I mean, I've had discussions many times with lawyers in the States where they go to search for firearms and ammunition, and they go there, Mr. Speaker, and it's a whole pile of obvious stolen items. They can't touch those at all. They didn't go to look for that. That can't happen in this kind of country. No, we're not changing it. Just make it more easier. Make it easier to do justice in every case. For example, the Prime Minister will tell you that quite recently the police executed a search warrant and they found a warehouse. A warehouse. All manner of goods. Refrigerators. Deep freezers. Appliances of all natures and sizes. Fencing wire. Tools. Well, don't worry. We're making it easier for justice to be done. And what has happened, you know, an ad had to be placed in the newspaper inviting people who had their refrigerators stolen or TV stolen to come and identify which ones belong. More than hardware store. You understand? So this cannot be right. So we have to deal with the law as we see it. And remember, the law is always changing to meet the trends going on. Lately we noticed that they're pulling off people's bags and chains, etc. And they're using people's ring and thing and so on. We have to nip it in the bud. We're trying to control the situation. We're trying to prevent the constant recurrence of crime in Antigua and Barbuda and giving the law enforcement officers the tools with which they can carry their duty to get justice done. Antigua and Barbuda, Mr. Chairman of the party, Mr. Chad Green, is known to be a safe society. We want to make it safe. We are known to have the lowest record for serious offenses in these parts of the hemisphere. We want to keep it so. We want to keep it so. So, Mr. Speaker, this is a really simple amendment. In the old amendment, it was limited to larceny and felony. Now we talk about anything across the board. Mr. Speaker, I commend this to the House for this debate.
Speaker, I rise to support this amendment and reserve the right to speak.
Oh, yes, that's correct. Even narcotics.
I recognize the Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to make some brief remarks on this Magistrate Code of Procedure Amendment Bill 2026. Now, Mr. Speaker, while I understand what the bill seeks to do, I think we have to be careful that we don't trample on the constitutional rights of individuals. So, Mr. Speaker, clearly, I don't know nothing about that. So, Mr. Speaker, the amendment expands the scope of search warrants for larceny and other felony to offense of any kind. Mr. Speaker, I think this is a little bit too broad and could really impact privacy or constitutional rights of individuals. You see, Mr. Speaker, if it is, and it can also be used as a malicious or personal means. Because, Mr. Speaker, according to this act, if you come into my house and you're looking for a TV, and the TV is right before you, you have the evidence before you, what is the need to continue to search when what it is that you're looking for? Huh? Because based on the reason why you're going to search, you will have the information that you're looking for. But, Mr. Speaker, and again, I believe the law must take its course, and if this is necessary, it should be done. However, we have to always be guided by the constitutional rights of individuals. And I'm saying, Mr. Speaker, it could be to ensure and protect constitutional privacy rights. This clause, Mr. Speaker, should include a threshold of seriousness. A threshold of seriousness. It could be limited. It could be limited to indictable offenses. Why? Because you are literally infringing on the constitutional rights of individuals. And again, it's not standing here in objection to the bill. It's the fact that people have rights, constitutional rights. And I want us to, when we put legislation in place, put laws in place, it is guided by and not be used as a tool to go after individuals. Because we have to be careful, Mr. Speaker. But, Mr. Speaker, while we look at the legislation, I want to find out, and we can discuss it. AG, when you wrap up, you can tell us if this bill allows for modernization in terms of the digital places. For example, search warrant for cloud. My iCloud space, will this bill seeks to address that? That's a different matter. That has to come under a different... Because, again, it's in the electronic crimes bill. Okay. And again, Mr. Speaker, these things aren't, in my view, controversial, but I think the expansion and definition of some of these things should be a bit clearer in terms of places and how it is put forward. Because as we look at what exists, the definition, all definitions should include vehicles, vessels, aircraft, and again, with a warrant, you can also go for a warrant for electronic storage. Because, again, that's another place that people are storing things in this modern day. I suggest that this also, to strengthen the bill, Okay. And, Mr. Speaker, we have to be careful because the subclause, which I believe is necessary, however, subclause 3, where evidence of any offense or any offense identified in a search warrant is found in place or places upon which the warrant was executed, the evidence shall be brought before the magistrate granting the warrant or some other magistrate of Antigua and Barbuda. Right. So, Mr. Speaker, now this clause makes allowance for seizure of any illegal item. I don't have any problem there. But what should happen to? They should go back to the magistrate after seizing it to get another search warrant to further search the property because you would have found something. You think? Because I will say what I would recommend is that upon seizing those things, the magistrate review the circumstances and give the warrant to search further into the premises. Because, so in other words, if you come in to a house, if you walk into a house and this iPad, a stolen iPad, is on the table, and that is what your search warrant is for, the stolen item. You're saying to me, even with you finding the evidence of which the search warrant was granted, and I hear that point, but at the same time, so legally, if it's not practical, then I will yield to that. Me, I don't have anything to worry about. If it's one thing about me, a matter of fact, where I live, I don't even lock the door. Because I don't have anything to hide. My life is an open book. So, Mr. Speaker, you know, we have to be careful. And I think the bill, Mr. Speaker, also has some positives to it, Mr. Speaker. The bill succeeds in its stated goal of simplifying the rationale for granting search warrants. The language is more direct and easier for both law enforcement and the judiciary to interpret than the previous wording. Operational continuity clause 3.2 maintains the necessary flexibility for law enforcement by explicitly stating warrants can be issued and executed at any time, including Sundays, ensuring that time-sensitive evidence is not lost due to administrative timing. So again, the main concern that I have with this bill is the intrusion on the constitutional rights of individuals. But again, yes. So again, Mr. Speaker, it's not a situation in which there's an objection to the bill. It's a situation in which we have to look at all possibilities. And again, always make sure. No, it's something, it's a point that I can yield to. It's a point that I can yield to. It's not that I'm hard and fast that you don't, because again, Catching criminals should be the order of the day, and ensuring that justice is served is what we all as lawmakers should be advancing. So, Mr. Speaker, with those few words, I thank you for allowing me.
Recognize the honourable member for Barbuda.
Mr. Speaker, the Magistrate Code of Procedure Amendment Bill 2026. Section 3 states, Mr. Speaker, Section 38 of the Principal Act is repealed and replaced as follows. A magistrate may, if satisfied by information given on oath, grant a search warrant to search any place or places where there is reasonable cause to believe that an offense of any kind is being or has been committed, or that the evidence in relation to any such offense is to be found in that place or places. Section 2 states, Mr. Speaker, that a search warrant may be issued and executed at any time and may be issued and executed on a Sunday, which is new. Section 3 states, Mr. Speaker, that where evidence of any offense or of any offense identified in a search warrant is found in the place or places upon which the warrant was executed, the evidence shall be brought before the magistrate granting the warrant or some other magistrate of Antigua and Barbuda. And so, Mr. Speaker, two basic things, Section 2 and 3 for me. We're now giving the authority to the magistrate to issue search warrants for Sundays, that they can be executed on Sundays. And the other thing, Mr. Speaker, that's new is that we're also saying that if a search warrant is executed for a specific item or purpose, whatever nomenclature you want to use, and other things are found, then those things can also be seized and confiscated. And so, Mr. Speaker, I look at the context of this. And in the great United States, Mr. Speaker, when a search warrant is issued, it's issued for a specific purpose. And whatever you find when that search warrant is executed outside of the search warrant cannot be seized and used. Now, my problem is, Mr. Speaker, is that we in Antigua and Barbuda, we have an issue, not a major issue with crime, and I think we have competent law enforcement officers, and it's important for them to understand their job. So if you want to apply for a search warrant, Mr. Speaker, and you can tell me if I'm wrong. I mean, I don't think a search warrant, I'm no legal person in any way, has to be limited to a particular item. You can have a search warrant for several different items, Mr. Speaker. And so I cannot come in and agree that we're going to open this Pandora's box at this time, when, if it is, we want to capture other things, because there must be some reasonable suspicion. It must be brought before the magistrate and included. And if there's a doubt, Mr. Speaker, if there's a doubt and you feel it's not only televisions, there might be guns, there might be whatever, you include several things that you probably think you might come across based on the circumstance. But you cannot come to the parliament and tell the nation of Antigua and Barbuda that whatever you find or whatever is found illegal or whatever you call it illegal, whatever is not on the search warrant, that you can just decide you're going to seize it and use it against that person. I don't agree with that. We must have the competence to agree that whenever you're executing a search warrant, there must be that modus, that thought process that goes into a search warrant. And I'm saying that if you feel that somebody's importing televisions and guns and you want to search a place, you go to the magistrate and get the search warrant accordingly. That's what I'm saying. Listen to me. Mr. Speaker, I am saying that we're opening a Pandora's box that we don't have to open. We don't have to. No, I'm serious about fighting crimes. So if you don't have to limit the search warrant in this case, you can have a search warrant that includes several different things that you're looking for. But not everything. But Mr. Speaker, I am saying here, Mr. Speaker, all tools can be available. Search warrant is one of those tools.
Honourable Member,
yes.
Can the reasonable suspicion be done when you enter that premises? So I come looking for the iPad, as the Honourable Member mentioned. When I get into that house, I just got a suspicion that, hey, even based on the body language of the individual, that there could be something else in here.
Mr. Speaker.
No, just a question.
You get in certain way. I mean, I'll go down the road with you, right? Mr. Speaker, I am saying here, and I'm trying to be reasonable, all right? Because we live in a very small society. This is not a huge society like the United States and so on, all right? We're fighting crime. We're being serious about fighting crime. I have no problems with that. But, Mr. Speaker, there are different ways in which certain things can be done. And I'm saying coming to the Parliament to do this, Mr. Speaker, is not the best way to do it. There are many ways. So if you go to execute a search warrant, you have the SWAT team, for example. I don't know how it works, and so on. And you go in there and you find something. And you have a suspicion that other things might be happening or other things happening in the house. What you do, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to just take what you go to search for, and then you let the SWAT team just go away like that? You surround the place and make sure it's done in a particular way.
That is a fishing expedition, though.
That is what I'm saying. So, Mr. Speaker, I'm saying that we are going outside of what I think we should do. There are other ways that we can capture certain things, and I agree that we can do the thing on Sunday. I agree with that, because Sunday I don't understand why that was a problem. But, Mr. AG, think about it. Huh? No, and I said I agree that we should be able to do it. That's my point, right? I don't know why Sundays was excluded. That I agree with. But this thing of going down that road, of trying to go in a man's house, and anything is on the table without a search warrant, I think is let me qualify what I'm saying. You have a search warrant to go in, right? But certain things that's not on the search warrant, all right? That's you find in the house. We are opening up a Pandora's box and going down a particular road that is not necessary at this time. I would want the Attorney General, when he wraps up, to say to this Parliament, whatever circumstances or experiences have been reported to him in recent times, in the kind of numbers that will require us coming to the Parliament to do this. I'm speaking about. Listen, you also have to protect the constitutional rights of everybody. You know, everybody has a constitutional right. All right, and Mr. Speaker, I hear you, and I understand the situation with crime, and I have a zero tolerance for crime as well. All right, but in life, and I've always said this, there's always circumstances. Well, not always. Most of the time, there's circumstances for a lot of things. People adopt certain lifestyles for reasons that some of us cannot relate to. I'm not saying we'll agree with them. All right? There are people who, and I want to find, I don't want to sound like I'm defending that, because I'm not. But I'm saying litmus tests cannot be one size fit all. All right? It might be to you. All right? And I see what you're trying to do. But, I mean, there was a reason, Mr. A.G., why it was never there before. I am not saying you're not doing that. Provide the police and law enforcement with everything they need. You need to do that, too. And beef up your security at the ports of entry. All that would help to do that. Right? But to come and talk about the search, there's a reason why previous parliaments up to now has not amended this thing, you know. It's not new, Mr. A.G. This is not a new argument, you know. Attorney generals from Keatford and so on, this is not new. It's not a new thing. You understand? There seems to be some obsession with that. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. I just came to this country yesterday. I don't know what drugs, and I don't know about that. I don't do drugs, Mr. Speaker. I don't do drugs. All right? So I don't know. The member City West is insinuating certain things. That doesn't apply to me or anybody with me. So I don't know what you're talking about there. All right? But Mr. Speaker, again, just to wrap up this, I support the initiative of trying to reduce crime and eliminate crime if we can. I do. But Mr. Attorney General, I remember a lot of Attorney Generals. Keith Ford, Clay Roberts, Justin Simon, this Roddy Hill. I don't know much about him in terms of discussion, but this particular situation that we're doing now has always been on the table. All right? It's not new, it's not novel, it's not something we come. But the question is, are we going down the right path? And you're saying yes. Well, the eyes have it. The eyes have it. But Hansard, when I leave, Hansard will show. All right? That I at least discuss this matter, especially from previous experiences, from in government when we had serious debates in cabinet about the same thing. You might think it's time now to change it. Yeah? I hope you can give a rational. So, Mr. Speaker, with those words, as I said, I hope when the Attorney General wraps up that he can present a convincing argument that at this present time, when the member for City West boasts that we have the lowest crime in the OECS, crime rate, and perhaps in the Caribbean, right? That we see the need to come to the Parliament to impede a bit on persons' constitutional rights, to go to his house and to seize items, Mr. Speaker, that's not on a warrant. So with those words, I support clauses 1 and 2 wholeheartedly, but clause 3, I reserve the right to think hard on that. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I recognize you're a member for St. John's Rural North.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to support the Magistrates Code of Conduct, Code of Procedure Amendment Bill 2026 in its entirety. What I can't understand is I get the feeling that the members on the other side come to defend the criminal element. Mr. Speaker, and I'm sure the AG and any police will tell you this. When you do a search warrant, you get word that some fella's thief down the road. When you go in your house, you don't just find that, it's storing stuff from the last 3 break-ins. So what are you supposed to do? Say only those from this break-in we take in and leave the rest? This is what we come to. You go in the house, and by the way, you had even at the elections people promising weed for you if you don't vote for the people on that side. So the police must go in now and look for the said weed in the place and see guns in there and leave them. Exactly. That's what we come to. You guys should be ashamed of yourself, man, to come in here and chat that dribble. Mr. Speaker, once again, I support the bill, and I hope they will learn from this.
I recognize you're a member for St. Paul.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Like the previous speaker, I rise to support in its entirety the Magistrate Code of Procedure Amendment Bill 2026. Mr. Speaker, I thought for a while that this would have been an easy passage because the move of the bill was very clear that this is about dealing with crime and criminal elements in our country. It really strikes me as more than passing strange that the member Barbuda and All Saints, even St. Luke, would find time to nitpick this bill. So, Speaker, this amendment represents a zero-tolerance approach to crime. As simple as that. And the opposition is going to be serious. You either join in this, or you're not joining this. You can't be half pregnant in this one. Mr. Speaker, I hear about the constitutional rights of robbers, of crooks, of thieves. What about those who are being robbed? They have no constitutional rights? And doesn't the government have obligation to protect them? The move of the bill was very clear about a situation which invariably influenced this moment. Of a warehouse, unlicensed warehouse. And we see it all the while. Police calling persons to come to the station to identify stolen goods.
Exactly. Because it's more than one robbery.
Mr. Speaker, this is not a joke moment. We can't just talk about Antigua being the safest country in the world, witness pockets of crime, and not do something about it before it escalate to make us one of the worst destinations in the world.
Keep ahead of them, man.
We have to stay ahead of this all the time. And so this bill, I want to commend the AG and his team for really bringing this to the Parliament in this timely fashion, before crime envelops us and take the better of our country. There's some old sayings, you know, and being a countryman, I see a couple of country people around the room. The Prime Minister himself will boast of having a country, potters. A single ounce of prevention is better than a whole pound of cure. Don't wait till that moment. You say, let them go with a warrant to search for things, multiple things, all listed. What if the one thing they stumble upon is not in the warrant? It's the same thing you end up with, where they can't remove it. So you go to the MP's house to look for an iPad, and you see the iPad on the desk, and so you're about to move it. But as you look at the device, you see a gun next to it. You must not touch the gun, okay? Because they're not coming for the gun. I'm saying we have to, and you find bullets, and bullets on the list. You have to let's get serious. When we send law enforcement agencies out to do their work, it's about crime, criminals, illegal activity, and we should not limit them. Not in today's situation. If we want to send the right message to our people, that we are serious about what we're seeing happening in our country today, we have to get tough on crime. And it can't be a bipartisan arrangement. It can't be on the side we're saying, get tough on crime. On the other side, I see a big release. We stand in support of a senator whose fiancé comes with drugs in the airport. I saw it this week.
Yes.
I saw it this week that the UPP put out a release standing in solidarity with somebody bringing drugs in this country. We can't look. Let's get serious, okay? We just came out of the general elections, where the people of this country overwhelmingly elected a government. This government has a responsibility, not only to those who voted for us, but for the entire nation, to do things that are important in maintaining, in this instance, the safety and security of our country. Antigua Barbuda does not exist in a vacuum by ourselves. We depend on international travelers to come to our country. And they go online and see all these stories. They go and see when there are house breakings and there are robberies and there are beatings. We have to be seen to be serious. And so I want to commend the AG and his team, for bringing this bill, this amendment to the Parliament today. It's not about infringing or trespassing people's constitutional rights. We are a government that protects the Constitution and the rights of our citizens. But at the same time, we have to get serious and realize that things are changing. And if things are changing, we are obligated to change as well. To stay ahead of this one. Don't allow this one to get out of control. Mr. Speaker, I didn't plan to speak on this one because honestly, when I looked at this bill this morning, I figured we have total support for this one. I can't believe for the life of me that the members on the other side could find something to pick on this one, which speaks to the moment and the government taking steps to ensure that our country continues to be a safe, if not safe, the safest destination in this region. This is not targeting ordinary citizens. This is targeting crime and criminals, crooks, vagabonds, the people who we all should join together in crushing. And so when you talk about the constitutional right of crooks and criminals and thieves and vagabonds, let us also, who have rights, admittedly, let's also remember that the rights of decent living citizens, hard-working citizens, visitors to this country are also part of what we need to protect as a country and a government. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I recognize the Honorable Attorney General.
What a wonderful note to end the debate on. Very well said, Mr. Chairman. Very well said. You want to speak, Mr. Chairman?
Go ahead.
Who wants to speak?
No, you want me to come because we're going to murder them.
You want to go, please?
Go ahead. It's okay.
Okay. All right. Listen. I'm so amazed. I can't find words to speak.
They're lost for words.
How can anybody, look, it's as if you go into a house to look for a radio. You see ganja, packs of ganja in the corner. Don't touch that. Are you guys really serious about what you just said? Now let's move on anyway.
For real.
But that's a logical conclusion to what you're saying. In any event, sir, what this is correcting is also that the old law talks about larceny or other felony. In other words, in the olden days, which we're going to change very shortly, crime was divided into two. Misdemeanors, which are simple crimes, and the felonies, which are serious crimes. Not so serious and serious. We're putting everything together now. And what we're saying, you see, we must move precisely. So we are now covering any offense at all. Can you imagine the police went to search to look for, I think it was ganja. But when they searched it, they found a warehouse full of goods, and they must leave it and go to a mansion to get a warrant to come back. You're not serious, guys. Join us in our fight against crime. We have to protect the nation, the people of this nation. Mr. Speaker, I'm so happy that you have done this. Because now we know that when the police, and first of all, it's not something happening overnight, You've got to go to the magistrate, convince him or her that you have reasonable grounds to believe that goods required are there. You have to convince him on oath, I swear by Almighty God and the evidence and so on, and give them actual proof of what you're talking about. Exactly. So it's not a willy-nilly thing, It's done according to the law. And I'm certain, Mr. Walker, if you go down to Barbuda and you find that something is missing from your gas station, and the police go to search somewhere. Precisely. That's what I'm talking about, Trevor. Precise, Trevor.
And they normally steal multiple items.
I know
you take your cash, you take your jewelry. You think they're going for one item in your home when they break your house and steal? What they find
You understand, my friend? So what I'm saying to you, sir, I know that you're not serious about it, but the time has come when we must stop playing to the public and look about the interests of the nation of Antigua and Barbuda. Because when you speak, everything you say is in Hansard. Every step you make is in Hansard and recorded for people to come. So, Mr. Speaker, with those few words, I'm asking that this matter, Mr. Speaker, be sent to committee. Say again? Yes, to be committed, to be considered clause by clause. Thank you, sir.
Second motion, Mr. Speaker.
It has been moved and seconded that a bill shortly entitled Magistrates Court of Procedure Amendment Bill 2026 be read a second time. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it. The bill will now be read a second time.
An act to amend the Magistrate Code of Procedure Act, Cap 255, and for other connected purposes.
The bill now stands referred to Committee of the Whole House to be considered clause by clause.
Clause 1, short title.
The question is that Clause 1 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
Clause 2, interpretation.
The question is that Clause 2 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 3, amendment of Section 38, search warrant.
The question is that Clause 3 do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye. Those against say no. The ayes have it.
The enacting clause.
The question is that the enacting clause do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
And the title.
The question is that the title do stand part of the bill. Those in favor say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
This is WTP Radio, 93.5 FM, coming to you from the biggest village in Little Antigua.
Pan, and more pan. Pan in the city. The Antigua and Barbuda Festivals Commission, in collaboration with State Insurance Company Limited, invites you to Pan in the city. It's the first taste of Panorama this Saturday, June 20th, from 3 p.m. until, taking place on Reckless Street, right in front of State Insurance. Come, soak up the sweet sounds of all your favorite steel pan orchestras. Nyamming and drinking the pan sale. Food and drinks will be on sale. Bring the family, bring the crew, and come catch the vibes. Pan in the city. You've got to experience Pan in the city this Saturday. Come feel the rhythm of Pan.
Father's Day is this Sunday, and all week at WTP we are celebrating the incredible men who raised us. To treat them right, we've teamed up with the Wtp restaurant for a delicious lunch for two, and Clippers Barbershop for a fresh, free haircut. We want to hear about your dad. Is he your rock, your mentor, or just a guy who always makes you laugh? Listen in all week to share your stories and win it all for Dad this week. Celebrate Father's Day with WTP Media Network.
Just like you. Calypso.
Feel the rhythm, feel the power, feel the culture of Antigua Barbuda. Friday, July 31st, the stage is set for the most powerful voices, the sweetest melodies, and the real spirit of Carnival. It's the Cavalier Rum Calypso Monarch Finals live at Carnival City. Will the reigning Calypso Monarch be defending her crown?
The harder they shake, the harder I come in back.
One stage, one microphone, one crown. Who will rise? Who will conquer the Calypso throne? Tickets only $40. Friday, July 31st. It's the Cavalier Rum Calypso Monarch Finals, Carnival City.
When you're having your big life and want everything go fine, there is one place in Antigua that will help you have good time. Grab on liquors, dancing, dockyard, and of course, cause you will see they've got everything for occasion, life, and even party. All the very best in liquors for much less than you expect. Come to Bravo Liquors for the best of time, be sure to get rum and scotch and vodka, even wine and cigarette. Cigars, juices, bars, and liquors that we ain't finished yet. Bobby flavors, soda, soft drinks, coolers, drinks, and even scotch. Bravo Liquors in Antigua is where you find it at. Bravo Liquors, Bravo Liquors, Bravo Liquors, Bravo Liquors, Bravo Liquors, Bravo Liquors, Bravo Liquors.
your eyes on the road. Keep your mind on driving. Keep your hands on the wheel, as one distraction can steal your reaction. Look out for pedestrians, joggers, and cyclists. Look left, look right. Be aware of vehicles. Drive safe. Drive smart. This is a message from the Antigua and Barbuda Transport Board. For more safety messages, stay tuned or call us at 484-4600 or check us out on Facebook at Antigua and Barbuda Transport Board and on Instagram at transport.board.anu1.
WTPAntigua.com 93.5 FM.
My favorite spot. You just can't stay home. You just can't stay home. And she all in love. All she wants is love. Hey, girl, you the party whining class. Today, how you whining, baby?
93.5 WTP.
Hey, so good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are in the world. David J in the building. So, yes, we had the Parliament today. Should have been tomorrow. I don't know, they changed, but you know how it goes here. Anyway, yeah, I'm in the building. I'm doing what I need to do. So, how are you? How was your day so far? For me, everything... Oh, hold on. What's going on here? My screen's gone all a bit wonky. Right, so, yeah, walking up here today from home, oh my God, I always have to, sometimes I complain about what's going down, and I have to pull myself together and tell myself keep quiet, because I complain about the wrong things. And I'll tell you why I say that, because when you've got people here from overseas and they're asking you, what's this, oh my God, the beach is because I keep forgetting that's my everyday life, isn't it? It's my everyday life, and I completely forget we live in beauty personified. What? All the time. Absolutely ridiculous. Oh dear. Let's play something stink. This is called the Stink Rhythm. Love this. Just realised I started off with this yesterday as well. This is a big rhythm. What? I shout to my people up in England, see what they're saying about this.